GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Tom Onslow-Cole Clio Series. We are here live for round 2 from Varano, Demiligari, an 11-corner circuit here, very tight, should be action-packed racing. I'm Keith Barrick, as usual, joined here surprisingly by Danny Asbury, who was my co-commentator in Season 2 for the Clio Series. Unfortunately, Scott is having PC issues. We hope he gets it all sorted out for the next round. But Danny, glad to have you here.
Yeah, I mean, we first teamed up for this thing back in Season 2, Keith, and it's good to be back here in the booth with my good buddy, my good friend, and hopefully we've got a good race here to watch here tonight.
Well, I mean, if seasons past are any indication of what kind of racing you're going to get out of a place like Varano, I think everybody involved and watching at home is going to be in for a treat. So without further ado, we are here live at Varano. Just a couple things. I mean, we need to discuss what had went down in the first round of this championship, and we'll pull the standings up here quickly. And, we'll just have a quick discussion. I mean, basically, Danny, we've got... You just explain to me what you saw as a viewer, because you weren't in the booth with us.
It was pretty much just precision, and precision. They absolutely killed it at Brands Hatch. They were on another plane compared to the other drivers in THR, in Ice Cold Racing, and the other teams. So pretty much it was precision against THR. You're seeing their drivers ahead of it in the championship standings. We have obviously Jack Keithley, who has won now a few TPS titles. Simon Kilo is right there, number 2, right behind him. William Levike is the first of the THR runners, and getting in 4th position, that's Lassie Sorensen. But we need to point out to our viewers here that Lassie has been banned from TPS for now 6 months, so Precision has lost one of their top drivers. Thankfully, though, for Precision, they have Jeffrey Rietveld to step in and replace him to hopefully give him another car up at the front, Keith.
Well, yeah, and Rietveld actually did miss the first round, unfortunately for him, because it does put him out of contention for a lot of the prizes. However, Rietveld is a champion. He's already shown his incredible form and pace in the VV8s, basically dominating the field there. So I know that he did mention that he wasn't quite as prepared, but in the Clios, you can see he is already showing some pace. We'll get to the times for practice, but as you go down, you've got the likes of Tallberg, Davis, Ely, Ben Davis as well, John Monroe, Chris Hack. You got a lot of guys who are chomping at the bit to knock this Precision. Well, I guess you could say a tripod up front out, because they are clearly in form and in a dominating fashion, just showing people that they're here to make a statement.
Yeah, in fact, Precision has been so dominant in TPS that it's really caused quite a conundrum for the folks at THR. In fact, THR, they have been alluding to this special team meeting, so to speak, that they were going to have between Brands Hatch, and now here we are 2 weeks from that event here in Varano. And pretty much they're trying to go over things like strategy, preparation, the setup, just to try to get a grip on how to go against the Precision cars. And quite frankly, a lot of fans, a lot of people are very curious to see what THR we're going to see here tonight, Keith.
Well, I am as well, and with that being said, let's get to the track here. You can see we're here at Varano, and at the top of the timetables is Simon Kilo, Jeffrey Rietveld, followed by Levesque. So Levesque is now he has now slotted himself in between the Precision sandwich up there. The tripod is what I'm calling it. These guys are showing some serious speed, but what we'll do is let's get on board with someone here, and we'll get you around a lap of Varano. We're on board with Kilo. Let's see how he's faring here and where he is. He should be coming up shortly to start a fresh lap, I believe.
Now, this is at end of Sector 1, I believe.
Yeah, just at the end of Sector 1. So we'll just give him a moment here. Let's see if we can find someone else who's on a
Actually, you know
start
what?
of a
You're
lap.
right, Keith. You're right, Keith. Yeah, that was actually Sector 2. He's on Sector 3. He's about to get started on this next lap.
Yeah. So here he comes back around, making his right. This is going to come through turn 10. Yeah, you can see he's taking a wide run, so he can come down the start-finish line straight away here. It's not really, it's fairly curved as you come up to the start-finish line straight, but it's a long run into turn 1, which is fairly quick. It's all about momentum through here. It's a left-right flick that is going to lead down a fairly long chute into a hairpin, so you got to get your timing just right as you use a little curve to the inside, a little bit on the right side. Don't use too much on the exit. Carry your speed. This is a great overtaking opportunity into turn 3 as you come up into a very, very hard braking zone into a tight hairpin. As you can see, these cars just bouncing a little bit through here, hit the apex, come right out, use all the curb on the exit. Now another long chute into a left-right flick. And as you can see, this is a very fairly narrow, compact track, and it's all about carrying the momentum. As you come in through here, this is 4 and up through 5. Going to get out nice and wide because you're going to be setting up for 6, which is another right-left flick, but it's a much quicker one. It's flat out, up over the curbs, bounce a little bit, use all the exit. Now you're coming up to 8. It's a kind of a curved entrance down into the hard braking zone of 8. Come through 8, right out to the outside of the track as you're going to set up for 9, which is a long double apex corner. As you can see, he's coming in hot, drifting up the track, and coming back down for 9, setting up for 10. As he comes into 10, it's going to be an out wide setup. He's going to very narrow for your actual hot lap, but when you're setting up, like you saw him as he was setting up, you're going to be starting out wide. So that is turn 10, turn 11, a lap around Varano. And I mean, my voice is already gone just from how exciting that is. And these guys are constantly working, and you put 30 guys out here, and you've got, it's going to be some really tight stuff.
We just saw a lot of turns in this track, a lot of twisty turns, I should say. It really demands a lot from the tires of this circuit. It has done that for every season we've come here. A lot of drivers have trouble keeping the tires on it. And I've talked to a lot of team managers today, and they are very concerned about how they're going to be able to get the car running for 26 laps on this track here today, Keith.
Yeah, and you know what? It's very difficult, and we saw this in round 1, is that when you get under pressure and you're pushing the car to either catch someone or defend against someone, it puts undue stress that you weren't, prepared for. And
yes.
You see these lulls of times where guys are kind of having to ease off to let the car kind of settle down for a second, and you're going to see that a lot here today as well, too, because this is, well, even more so than Brands Hatch, because you've got such quick turns. They're very tight, and you're always putting a lot of pressure on those fronts, and it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, because we got 26 laps, super pole qualifying, and you just don't have a lot of room out here. So this is going to be quite the entertainment.
Yeah, and about the tire wear real quick again, you're exactly right, Keith. If you push too hard in these tires, you will absolutely cook the car, because we saw that in round 1 at Brands Hatch with Toby Davis. He pushed very hard to go after the Precision guys early, but we saw once they got into the middle stint of that race, his car was absolutely dead on him, and he could not even defend it against his THR teammates. So yes. It really is a matter of timing when to push and when to hold back here.
Exactly, and in one miscue, and you could put yourself in a very poor position for later on in the race, and possibly end up getting into some trouble as people close in on you and you get a little frantic. I mean, it's very easy to happen even to some of the best guys, that if you're all of a sudden under undue pressure that you weren't expecting at the end of the race, you can make those mistakes that cost you valuable points and potentially end up getting a DNF.
Yeah, and I do want to get into one other storyline we have here before we go into quality in another 3 minutes. And that's pretty much another story surrounding THR. I know we talked a little bit about them here already, but during last race, a very interesting situation happened in the post-race interviews. We had, obviously, Ben Davis, who was your race 2 pole sitter. He got on the post-race interviews, and he was very candid about his dismay within the THR kind of umbrella, and how he didn't feel that he was treated with the proper respect during the event, Keith. And I thought this was a very interesting situation, because Ben pretty much said that he doesn't feel that he's a part of the THR team anymore, okay? And he said that because he felt that, maybe THR were a little too, maybe pushing too much, and they decided not to really help him out, Ben Davis, that is. And he was very troubled by that, you know.
Well, it's you know what it is you're also getting some family qualms as well, because you've got Toby and Ben, both brothers. They both race in real life together. But you know what? It's the kind of thing that comes up. This is a very tense situation, and you know, and also to kind of alleviate some of that is that he did say that, you know, maybe this is just how I'm feeling because it's right after the race, and we all know the blood gets going, and things tend to be a little heightened at the end of a race.
I definitely think that the nerves got a little bit of Ben after that race, a little bit of the better of him, rather, I should say, after the race. But at the same time, I do understand what he was talking about, because THR were kind of curt when it came to dealing with Ben, and so I'm curious how that's going to be, how that was dealt with within the THR outfit today. And I've noticed, of course, Ben Davis was our last race pole sitter. We're not even seeing him within the top 16 so far in these practice times.
Yeah, he's actually currently sitting in.
He's 28th, the last place car on the grid so far, and with the practice so far. And
well,
so
he's gonna have to get himself into some form here as we head forward. But with a minute to go, I did want to mention also, I know we were going to talk about him, was Pedro Amaral, who has had a significant run up. He's qualified in server 2. Pre-qualified in server 2, and now is currently in 8th position here at Varano. Very incredible to see, considering he did start in server 2 for the first round and has worked his way into server 1 and is now running amongst these big guys ahead of Callan, Wiesemuller, Oyala, Petzold, Toby Davis, Eric Strand. So I mean, it's great to see, and I know that I've raced with Pedro myself for quite a long time, and big shout out to him and all the Portuguese guys, because he's doing it all his own here. He's running through and he's flying the colors for Team Portugal, and really just, you know, putting it out there. But
Pedro,
big congrats to him.
Pedro, he's driving for EKT Portugal, and he won one of the races in Division 2 for Brands Hatch. The other winner, of course, was Pipo Rodriguez. But yeah, Pedro's looking very strong. I'm very surprised that, you know, he missed, like you said, Keith, he missed pre-quali. He missed qualifying for Division 1 and pre-quali, and somehow it looks like he's going to be a top 10 driver here today, pace-wise.
Yeah, well, and you know what? We'll see how it goes forward, because it is a little bit different racing here than in Division 2. Not because of possibly the intent, a little bit of the intensity level, because you are on a big limelight stage. You're being broadcast to the world and for all to see. So, you know, the nerves can kind of get a hold of you. But I know Pedro is used to being in the broadcast from all of his races past in ATCC. So we're going to be headed to qualifying here, and I just wanted to run a video for you that is just a quick kind of 30-second run for Team Hard, the team that Tom Onslow-Cole races for. So as we head to qualifying, we'll be back in just about 30 seconds. Hello, everybody. We are back. Sorry for the technical delays there. I just was queuing up another feature video from the Team Hard camp, the Team Hard Grid Girls 30-second clip there. That is one that will be played throughout the remainder of the season. But we also have a house guest. We have the one and only Tom Onslow-Cole now joined here with us live. He's been watching. He's been on the phone, wheeling and dealing as he does. But he's here to kind of give us some expert analysis as the race goes on. And, hope we can just maybe have a beer with him after the race. But, hey, Tom, it's good to have you here.
It's good to be here. Yeah, as you said, I've been sat here. I watched pretty much most of the practice session there while trying to be serious on the phone and do my engineering pre-beef before next week. So multitasking, not my best skill maybe, but a really interesting watch. I mean, the times are so close, so competitive. Qualifying is going to be really interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've tried to cover off some of the storylines, and I'm sure it's hard to follow along with what we're saying while you're on the phone and trying to be serious. But with Team Precision having such a dominant force in the first round, we're looking to see who can really get in the way of it. And I kind of quoted it as being a tripod up front because we've lost Lasse Sorensen, who did very well in the first round, but Jeffrey Rietveld has now replaced him because he had missed the first round. So Sorensen out, Rietveld in, and it remains those Precision 1, 2, 3 up top. So
the interesting thing here, Keith, and Tom just pointed this out, the times are so close. For Brands Hatch, I think William Levike was something about maybe a half a second off the Precision times, but we're seeing him, he's like only 2/10 up the road from Akilov, who's got that 16.3. So maybe THR have closed that gap, and we might be able to see a more competitive race here.
Well, I really hope that we can see a mix-up because that if the Precision guys do get out front and they do get a chance to get some clean air, and if they have any one of those three guys leading the way, they're going to be able to keep a nice buffer there of the drivers. They're going to be able to keep the guys like THR behind them because you have. Well, 3 cars is better than 1, let's put it that way. But we're going to find out more as we go through qualifying here and we see where everyone slots in, because we did see some surprises in the very first round with qualifying. So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, outside, I guess, THR and Precision, we have John Monroe driving for Ice Cold Racing in 7th through the pre-practice there. Pedro Amaro, like we alluded to, is 8th. And then Robert Wiese, more like Jasper Talbot, will I feel like your top 10 for the pre-practice times. But again, it's pre-practice. You don't have to press a Super Pole on you as we're on board William Levike as he gets for his one lap attempt here to see what he can do and see if he can crack those Precision drivers, Keith.
Well, we're going to need to see from William. We're going to need to see a 16.4 for him to really potentially stake this pole position, because that 3 of Kilo, I don't think he was close to matching throughout. Oh, and Levesque's already deep through
too
turn
much
1.
Speed there. Yeah,
that's half a second to a second lost from that one mistake right there, and that is going to be Levesque's qualifying. So, just with that mistake, that basically puts him down the grid. So we'll hop on board with Ely and see if he can get through without making a mistake. And he goes hot into turn 1 too.
Yeah, these guys are just pushing too much, a little too much.
They both make a mistake in turn 1.
And you can just see the THR cars. They know what's at stake here. They know they have to take the challenge Precision, and maybe they're just pushing a little too much in those cold tires, because that's the thing here, Keith. These tires are so cold to start off these stints with. It's really hard to get a good lap in with just one attempt.
Well, and with that being said, I'm going to hop on board with John Monroe, because he seems to be, I've been following him on my screen, and he seems clean through 1. So potentially this will be should be the quickest lap based on where he was and not having a mistake so far. But I'm really shocked to see Levesque and Ely both make mistakes in the same spot. I'm just wondering if nerves, maybe they just feel they need to be pushing that hard to get through this Precision tripod up front.
It's a bit of a shame, really, because Levike and Ely, they were really THR's best chance at claiming pole position, because the rest of the crew, Davis, Tallberg, and et cetera, those guys are down below P10 in the warm-up session, so they're not looking too strong here.
Well, right
of
now,
Levike and Ely.
Levesque has gone to, he did a 1:17.5, so he lost a second, and same with Ely. That is over a second lost in the one corner, but Tallberg has now gone purple. People Rodriguez as well is actually on a steamer.
And Monroe was 6 tenths up, it looked like.
Yeah, Tallberg is 4/10. Strong's up 0.18. Everyone's going to be going purple, though, because of the fact that Levesque had set such a poor time. But as we see Tallberg, this should be the provisional pole as he comes across. John Monroe was 16.9. Jesper Tallberg, we're on board with him as he comes across down through the start-finish line straight away. Can Tallberg take the pole here? He should. Comes across the line. No, 17 flat. So he is at second place. John Monroe holds provisional pole.
Yeah, and Precision, they are still holding their cards right now. They have yet to pull out the pits as the rest of the drivers scramble to put up a respectable time for these Precision guys to go after.
And Pipo Rodriguez slots into fourth with a 17.3. And let's see who else we've got on. Who else we've got?
Darren Adams to sixth with Eric Strong going to fifth. Gary Lennon up to third. So very nice for him.
Let's see if I want to see when these Precision guys are going out. They're waiting. Callan is now on track. Just kind of holding, just trying to warm his tires up. He doesn't want to make a mistake like both. Toby Davis to pole with a 16.8. 16.823 for Toby Davis into provisional pole position, but we have not seen any of the Precision drivers take a lap yet. So Toby Davis, it's now currently THR ice cold, THR ice cold.
That's a very clutch lap there from Davis. He obviously is the THR co-boss, and to be able to kind of recover from Levesque and Ely's squander there is very big lap from there from Toby there. That's good on him to do that.
Well, there is. This is Callan, and the timing is.
Well, who's that up in front of Callan? Just span off the track there. Hopefully he was. Oh,
and Callan gets sideways. Everyone seems to be making mistakes here in the clutch.
Yeah, I wonder if these guys are used to these cold tires, because that is a huge issue with these cars. I mean, a lot of times we saw in pre-practice that those are times that the guys were on the track for about 3 or 4 laps. I mean, Super Pole, like I said, it's a completely different animal when you have these cold tires like this.
Well, unfortunately, the timing is just giving me a bit of an issue here, and that's why you're not seeing the names of the drivers I'm on board with. So I do apologize for that. But we're on board with Keithley now, as he is going to be starting to take his lap. So let's get on board with Keithley and see what it looks like for Keithley to take a lap here. Nicholas Falk goes to 16th with an 18.4, but Keithley looking so smooth through 1 and 2. He's coming up on a car that's just completed his lap as he comes through turn 3. He's just got to keep it clean, and I mean, realistically, the times these guys were pulling, it's just about keeping a consistent lap. It's not about throwing out a heater, because a 16.8 is not, a 16.8 is a benchmark from Toby Davis, is not going to be all that hard to beat for these guys with the pace they've shown.
Yeah, and Colin up to 4, so solid lap there by Ryan Collin. As we're seeing, Keithley going purple, but again, we do not exactly know what the time is because we have a little glitch here. But we can assume that this will be your provisional pole lap if you can just keep this clean around this third sector.
Yeah, as he comes through here, really is unfortunate because we can't actually tell, and I can't change the timing down below to give you guys a better idea of how far down he is. But I can tell you, he's just super clean through this entire lap, as he comes through the last 2 corners here, in through 10, through 11, and going to be coming down to the start-finish line straight away to ultimately set what is going to be the provisional pole lap. As Jack Keithley crosses the line, 17.6. So
just barely, though. Wow.
Just barely. That was not what we were expecting. Let's get on board with, I know that...
let's see what the rest of the Precision guys can do. I mean, they might have to come up with better than that, because we still have...
Who do we still have on? I can't actually. There we go.
Riedfeld's still in the pitching, and we're seeing Kielov just coming out now. So these guys definitely taking their time.
Here's the shocking part. We've got Alexander Lauritsen back in 20th, who we missed do his time. He obviously made a big mistake. These are big mistakes from Lauritsen, Levesque, Ely. These are guys that had run in the top 10 both races at the start of in the first round. Luca Peklaj as well is back there in 12th. And there's still a number of guys to go that are going to be able to put times up on top of the board. Kilo, Riedfeld. We still have...
we have Butcher still at the second
Butcher, yeah, exactly. Butcher, Ben Davis as well could be a dark horse as well. We've already seen that from him once. But, Tom, I just want to pick your brain as... what goes through your head when you go out for qualifying?
And it's really interesting to watch this now. I'm paying as much attention as I can to catch up with all of this. But the kind of mistakes we saw early on in the session in turn 1 are so hard to recover from, because you come out of the corner and you're really kicking yourself that you've made a mistake at the very first opportunity, and it's then very hard not to overdrive for the rest of the lap. So that really just doesn't set you off on the right foot. But it's really interesting to see that we're looking at maybe 0.4 of a second down on the times in testing. But could this be, towards the cold tyre issue? And actually people have got very comfortable running at the end of the session with hot tyres, and then to change that and do a qualifying lap out of the box, one flyer with cold tyres, is a difficult transition.
Exactly. That's exactly what the problem is here. And then, yeah, I think you're right, Tom. Once you make that mistake through turn one, it just kind of compounds over the course of the lap because you're pushing too hard on, especially a car with cold tires like that. So I think that's why we're seeing Levaik, who is now down in 14th, and Ely down in 16th. So definitely not good for those guys.
Well, I have to point something out here. Simon Kilo, if you notice him disappearing, we are now what we're seeing from Kilo is he is suffering from what would to me look like graphics glitches, because what's happening is he's cutting in and out, which means that I know that his time is going to count here if he can get through the whole lap, but it's not going to put him up near the front. He may have to leave, rejoin, and start at the back of the field, which is very unfortunate for the person sitting in second in the championship. But these are the perils of online racing, and when you compare online racing to real racing, you could go out and get a flat in qualifying. Tom, I'm sure in your course of racing you've had stuff like that happen to you.
There's always the unknowns. I remember at the last round last year, I went to finish off. I had one corner left on my flying lap, and the throttle cable snapped. And I just made it back into the pits. I actually smashed through the pits.
Well, and
to
you
get
know
back.
what?
Yeah.
It's funny that we just commented on the Kilo situation. He actually still took the pole position while suffering either from an internet connection problem, so maybe some graphics, but Rietveld comes across the line. He takes the pole.
Wow.
It is precision 1, 2, 3 up front with Rietveld coming in, taking a pole. So now you've got Simon Kilo. I was shocked because I was watching them both on my screen and on the game screen here, and I'm really shocked that he managed to pull that off. He ended up with just barely squeaking through on Keithley, but Rietveld comes through with a 16.60, taking his first pole position in the Clios, and maybe stamping his authority on the rest of this season, saying, I want to do it in V8s and I want to do it in Clios.
I was just about to comment that Precision looked like they were going to be in some trouble, obviously, with the Kilo situation. And then it looked like you were going to have 4 THR cars inside the top 5 with only 1 Precision car. But, Precision, they dig down deep. They managed to get 2 other cars up there to support Keithley, actually to get in front of Keithley. So, again, it looks like we're looking at that Precision trio to lead this race.
As you mentioned earlier, though, the gap definitely has come down. They were very strong at Brands Hatch, but Brands Hatch is a considerably shorter circuit than this, and they were fairly clear in terms of times. The times are so close this session, so the gap is definitely coming down.
Sorry, Danny, go on.
Yeah, I'll just say, THR, they definitely have a reason to be optimistic going to this event. I mean, Toby Davis is going to be sitting there in 4th position with John Monroe right behind him, and these guys are going to be saying to themselves, you know what, yeah, we can catch them. We're right there. If we can just get a solid launch off the line, we're going to be in with a shot to win this race.
Definitely, and we're just going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay tight, and we'll give you the rundown of the grid, and we'll get you lined up for the first race of the second round. Be right back.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing, puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number 1 on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
All right, we are back. It's Keith Barrick here with Danny Asbury, and we are also joined by Tom Onslow-Cole for the start of the second round here. First race. Qualifying has now completed. We're going to do a quick rundown of the grid. We'll have Danny give you the rundown and kind of give you an insight as to where things are going to line up for the start of this race.
Yeah, about 3 minutes to go in warm-up here. We have Jeffrey Rietveld, who took pole position at the final hour, only 2 seconds left in the session when he came across the line. Simon Kilo, his teammate, is on the second on front row with him. We have Jack Keithley there in third, completing the precision quartet, as we're calling precision. I'm sorry.
The precision tripod.
Tripod. That's what we're using. Tripod. I lost your word there for a minute, Keith. We have Toby Davis headlining the THR cars in fourth position. John Monroe, the first, the best of the rest, as we're calling it this year, Ice Cold Racing. We have Jasper Talberg there in sixth position for THR. Chris Butcher, another THR car, his best qualifying result this season in seventh. Thomas Matazowski, yet another THR car there in eighth. We have ninth position Ryan Collin driving for Game Pod Racing. Rasmus Salo will complete the top 10 driving for Optimum Sim Racing in 10th position there. And Gary Lennon for Ice Cold Racing is in 11th position. I think he qualified top 10 in race 2 in Brands Hatch. So another solid result from him. Heinz Petzold will be the first core racing driver there in 12th. Pedro Amaral driving for EKT Portugal, like we discussed earlier, in 13th. People Rodriguez, also a Server 2 race winner. You're seeing Pedro and People Rodriguez there. Both just winners.
Just to chime in there, that's quite amazing that both guys that had moved up, that had won both race 1 and race 2 in Division 2, that was the second 32 drivers. They both end up 13th and 14th on the grid, respectively. That is an incredible story to see these guys come up. So
I guess those guys might be working with one another, maybe comparing notes. Who knows? Eric Strawn there in 15th position driving for Ice Cold Racing. Darren Adams is second core driver there in 16th. Actually, Darren is without his teammate Chris Hack today, who is absent. Luca Peklaj there in 17th, another core racing driver, with Ben Davis able to get his quality pace up a little bit from practice. But again, this guy was your pole sitter for Brands Hatch there in 18th. William Levike, a terrible quality effort from him there in 19th. Robert Wiesenmuller comes up a little bit from Brands Hatch to get in 20th. We have Nick Hughes there for Surreal Illusions 21st. Tom Ely, THR, for in 22nd position. Jay Adji, another THR driver, I think maybe the 10th THR driver we've seen here, in 23rd. Jimmy Hughes for Walk Racing, not going to be too happy with that result, Jimmy is. And then we have Jonathan Okercliffe there for Optimum Sim Racing there in 25th position. Nicholas Folk for Creek Racing in 26th. Alexander Lauritsen, terrible result from him in 27th, with Simon Shepard for Core Racing in 28th. I am not sure who we have there at 29th. I think they've just backed out the server very quickly. But we have Tommy Ohala there for EOR in 30th position. And Tommy, it should be said, even though he started in Division 2 for last round, he is up to Division 1 this round. Is 14th in the overall standings, which is very impressive for a Division 2 driver.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some interesting stories here that are going to play out, and it's going to be difficult. I will say this right now, to keep track, because of the guys who have qualified a little further down than they normally do, where they normally would be qualifying. So we're going to try to get every story we can. What's going to happen is these guys are going to line up. They're going to do a formation lap, come back around, and we'll be getting a standing start with 26 laps here at Varano. So it'll be a little bit fast. It'll be a little bit frantic. It'll actually be a little bit of both. And we could see a little bit of rubbing, but it's tight, close quarters, and these guys are running some very, very similar lap times. But right now, the big story is, again, as it was in round 1, Precision is sitting up top at a 1-2-3. So they are going to be very hard to topple, but you got Toby Davis, Monroe, Talberg, all nipping at their heels as we now head into the famous words of rFactor. Non-essential personnel, please leave the grid now. We will be lining up, waiting for the lights, get these guys off the line, do a quick formation lap, and see how these guys make out. But just a quick update as well, too. In Division 2, pole position went to Andrew Waring, who did not race in the first round. So it should be interesting to see, Danny, also, and I'm very curious to see how people will make their way up from Division 2 now that some points are already in the books.
Yeah, it definitely gets a little harder to make it up from Division Two the longer you wear on into a season. But we saw, I think, about 8 drivers come up from Brands Hatch to now Varano, so it's definitely doable. You're going to see some more drivers come up next round. I don't think quite as many, but it certainly is doable at this stage of the championship, and it's going to be interesting to see how this field is continually kind of changing throughout.
Well, and there's another storyline that also is we just kind of waited till the last minute to get to, but in the virtual mini challenge there was an incident that is currently under appeal involving Ryan Callan. That if the appeal is not granted, so to say, it would be a 6-month probation and a removal from that league. So obviously with an appeal, it was justified for the appeal. So we'll wait and see how that plays out. But obviously that's got to be weighing on the driver's mind for sure. Considering that he could be potentially under some scrutiny over the next 6 months should the appeal not go through. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But again, it's just endless storylines going through here in the world of TPS. But the big one is Jeffrey Rietveld, who dominated the V8 race that you commentated on, Danny. I mean, you saw the form he's got. Do you think he can pull it off here?
He's taken two pole positions and 2 tries in the TPS events, and he's taken a win in his one race in VV8. So I don't really think I can pick against this guy because we're looking at a real professional in Jeffrey Rietveld.
So prediction then.
I'm going Rietveld. I'm going.
All right.
Rietveld.
Hey, Tom, can I get your prediction if you've got one? I think Tom's got his mic on mute.
I now have it unmuted. I'm getting to grips with it. I'm still not sure how to call this because qualifying really mixed the grid up. I'm going to probably be outside and go for one of the guys that struggled at the start of qualifying and see if they can work their way through and rectify that. All
right. So who are you liking as we're just about to line up here?
I'm scanning down the list.
The interesting thing, we got William Levike and Tom Ely that got to do a whole lot of work.
We're gonna have to get going. We'll get your prediction in a bit here. As the lights are going to go out, we're going to get started here for round 2 at Varano. As we're following along with Kilo, he falls back a bit, loses a spot to Jack Keithley, and who's that coming up the inside? That looks like it's Toby Davis. Great start, headed to the outside into turn 1, around one of the precision cars. As Kilo is the loser there, back to 5th, coming up to the inside for 4th, taking it back away from John Monroe as there's a couple cars wide. But right now it's precision. Rietveld, Keithley, Davis, Kilo. As you got a few guys down the inside, up into turn 3. Tallberg into the side. It's a Butcher, sorry. Butcher up into the side of John Monroe. He's now up to 6th. Tallberg back to 7th. Callan into 8th. Everyone seems to be slotting in nicely. Seems to be fairly clean off the start here.
Remember, we saw exact same situation like this at the start of Brands Hatch. Toby Davis got in front of Simon Keeloff, but ran his tires off doing so. Can he actually stay in front of Keeloff and continue to challenge the precision cars?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to find out this early in the race, but I know Davis has an attacking strategy. Looking back as he's got Kilo all over the back of him. John Monroe keeping close toe, one of the young and up-and-comers.
Well, it needs to be said, Tom Ely, William Levike up to 12th and 13th. Ben Davis up to 9th from starting in 18th. So these guys are really going to move on at the start of this event.
They're not wasting any time. These guys coming through the field really quickly. But it seems to be it's nice to see everyone's kind of slotted in. Nothing too aggressive yet, but I'm sure that this is the niceties are going to wear off fairly soon. People are going to be anxious. People Rodriguez up to 10th. One of the server Division 2 race winner.
Colin is out. He blew it. He had an engine trouble, and he's out of the event.
Oh, dear. And people, just as I said that, People Rodriguez goes right off the track there. What happened there? People Rodriguez coming through turn 1. I think he either gets a little loose or someone gets into him. He comes into turn 1. Oh, and he gets a big shove from behind. Sends him right through turn 1, and he uses the escape road. Carries back up onto the track. I'm going to say that's not quite the way you got to do it. He's going to have to give up some track position there. But that was Eric Strani who got into the back of Pipo into turn 1. He's not going to be very pleased as he's still on the back of him here. As you can see, it's just a sea of cars coming through. I believe that's 4 and 5. People Rodriguez leading this train. But status quo up front with Rietveld, Keithley, Davis, Kilo all just in a train once again. But this battle here is looks like a train of about 12 cars, Danny.
Yeah, these guys have to keep their nerves cool. And we're seeing a few cars without their front clip there. But you've got to understand, with these cars with no downforce like they have, that's not too much of a worry here. They'll still be able to carry on and be competitive.
Yeah,
And
well,
we have Thomas Matizowski. He's also out of the event. So Ryan Kahn and Thomas Matizowski are done.
yeah, that's very unfortunate for Callan to blow his engine like that. I do apologize. The call was actually, it was Pipo Rodriguez got into the back of Wiesenmuller into turn one. I got them mixed up there when I called it. But Pipo is in the orange car there as we're following along with him. Wiesenmuller is just ahead of him in ninth with Levesque and Ely, who qualified well back in the field. They have made their way up. Let's have a look at how many positions they've gained so far. Both drivers, Wiesenmuller's gained 11, Ely 18. No, sorry, 10 positions. 10. Levesque. So the THR drivers, Wiesenmuller, Levesque, and Ely combined for 30 positions gained in 3 laps of this race. Incredible.
Yeah, and it looks like Ben Davis also, he ran into some type of trouble. It looks like he's going to pull off the side of the road. I know he's into the pits, Ben Davis. Remember, Ben Davis was up to 9th. Now he's down in 28th, and he's into the pits. So something happened there with the other THR driver.
Well, this is, it's kind of spread out a little bit now, but this is where you're going to start getting individual battles throughout the field. But up front, we'll just quickly go up to the front here as Rietveld is doing what he did in V8s. He's got a 1.4 second gap over Keithley, who is no slouch in these Clios.
Well, here, in behind there, you're seeing Toby Davis already under threat from Simon Kielov. And we saw this at Brands Hatch. Toby can get a nice start, but he doesn't seem to be able to have the outright lap pace and tire conservation to keep these precision cars behind him for very long.
Well, look at who is behind Kilo, keeping pace with both of these guys. John Monroe has been a steady progressor in his performance levels and his pace. Oh, and down the inside, Kilo gives a little look. Just saying, hello, Toby, I'm here, but Monroe is not wasting any time. He's staying right there, but I do believe he might play a little smart, wait for Kilo to try to make that move, but I might be wrong here. Eating my words, foot in my mouth. For it. He's down the inside, John Monroe. Sends a little bit wide hip and shoulder contact. John Monroe through to fourth, book it.
That is the best thing that can happen for Toby Davis, because he'd much rather go against Monroe than he would Kielov. So maybe Toby can actually hold a gap for a little bit here. Yeah,
let's see. Oh, who is that? Is that Pedro Almiral off the track? That is Pedro Almiral parked on the side of the track.
And he's out.
He's out. Pedro Almiral, the Cinderella story coming up from Division 2, having the DNF here in the first race of his first race in Division 1. So very unfortunate for the drivers who are out so far, but some great battling still going on out here as we're only on lap 4 of 26.
Oh yeah, Kielov, he's going to really want his position back from John Monroe, because listen, Monroe only got by Kielov because Kielov was held up by Davis. So I think out of these 3 cars, Kielov is far and away the quicker guy, but again, he's stymied through traffic here. So it's going to be very interesting to see if Kielov can get around these guys and then maybe go after the precision cars in front.
Well, this battle back here of Wiesenmuller, Levesque, Ely, this is a THR train, but these guys, like I said, have gained a total of 30 positions between the 3 as Levesque goes down the inside of Wiesenmuller. Wiesenmuller not fending him off very hard. Obviously feels his pace is a little stronger, probably feels it's better and more prudent to be behind him and work towards getting forward, as obviously Levesque is on a mission as he's up to 9th now after starting, I believe it was 22nd?
Yeah,
21st?
I think the sense in THR is that Levesque is their best chance to win this Drivers' Championship. So they're going to let him go through like that, not give him much trouble. And we'll see if Levesque can get up the grid and perhaps get a top 5 here.
Well, Eric Strawn is leading this big train of about 6 cars, followed by with Darren Adams, Heinz Petzold, Lauritsen as well, too, who had some great performances in the first round. Is that... okay, sorry, it looked like that was Almiral there, but it's not. It's Nicholas Falk. Nicholas Falk is the tail end of this train with Luka Peklaj just in front of him, but this is a fairly tight-knit train, and I do expect to see some battles between these guys as they start to get into some tire wear and you start seeing little mistakes from these guys, so this will be interesting. But up front, you've got... up front, it's pretty much
status quo, yeah, except Kielov is now looks like he's getting around Monroe as
he's through,
and he's got that done.
Through. Yeah. He's back. He's through to 4th. So Kilo makes the move on Monroe. So a short-lived glory there for Monroe as Kilo makes short work to get back past him, and now is his sights set on Toby Davis.
Yeah, and you look at this. Toby hasn't opened up a gap at all to these cars. And remember, Monroe and Kilo have been battling, and Toby Davis is still sitting right there to be had for this 3rd position.
Yeah, and he needed, as they're battling, you're right, he should have been pulling away. He should have been capitalizing on that. And, I mean, I got to say something. Keithley, Rietveld, two basically cyborg machines here.
Yeah,
they're pinging off laps, and they're keeping the same distance between themselves. Like I'm fairly new to seeing Rietveld race, and after watching him in the V8s, it was just uncanny, the ability to be so consistent over a long distance. Look, he's only 0.02 of a second off of his last lap time as he carries forward here, and Keithley is exactly the same distance as he was the last lap. So basically robots.
Here we go. Kielov, he is through on Davis through the first turn complex there, and so it looks like Kielov had that one done and dusted. He's in the third.
Let's see if we can get on board with them here. As we look back, this is Toby Davis down into turn one. Toby Davis still on the outside. Kilo goes in nice and deep, gets down to the inside, takes the apex. Davis just doesn't have anything to answer with. So moving forward, it's now again, it's precision 1, 2, 3. Davis just looking at he's getting a whole lot of yellow in front of him.
Yeah, and the thing about Kilo's car, the guy just doesn't seem to have much tire wear. He's able to go full on from the outset, and we don't ever see the guy kind of really drop off. So he's really got the tires in check with these cars, and he might even be able to have a look at Keithley and Rietveld in front. I wouldn't put that out the realm of possibilities, Keith.
Well, we'll see how it goes going forward. Monroe, though, I mean, looking very racy on the back of Davis, and I'm sure this is a big confidence booster because he obviously is able to, he's outpacing Davis right now as he's just putting the car where he wants to. And I do believe he took a nice line coming through 10 and 11 there. He might be able to get a slipstream down into turn one. Maybe not quite close enough, but I don't know. I think we're going to see a potential move by Monroe on Davis fairly soon here.
This ice-cold racing car is looking very strong for Monroe, and it might just go to show that, maybe THR don't have the proper setup on these cars because, John Monroe is usually outpaced by Davis, but he is ranging right up to the back of the THR veteran.
Well, let's get a look down the field as you've got, just behind them, you've got Tallberg and Butcher just kind of working their way towards. Rasmus Salo, very quietly just slotting into 8th. I don't think we've said his name once in this broadcast, but a very good performance from Rasmus so far, slotting into 8th and just very quietly doing so. But he does have a train of Levesque, Wiesemuller, and Ely closing in on him. Looks like very, very quickly, and it's a menacing sight to see those three cars come at you as they don't seem to be fighting. They're just working to get forward.
Well, I've been watching this battle for a few laps here. It looks like Salo's doing a solid job holding the gap. But the thing we saw about Salo in round one, he had tremendous quali pace, but absolutely no race pace. Now we see him. I think he qualied, down past 15th. Now he's inside the top 10. So it looks like Optimum have reprioritized where they're trying to get this pace from. It looks like Salo's very strong here to start off these races here tonight.
Well, the battling continues, though, a little further back down as you've got Eric Strani with Lauritsen, Petzold, and Adams. And I believe that Eric, Heinz, and Darren had some nice battling going on in race one. As down the inside, Alexander Lauritsen on the inside of Strawn. Turn one, book it. He's through. Lauritsen's into 13th.
Wow, Lauritsen started in 27th position, so to be up to 13th, that's a very well done job there from the precision driver.
14 positions he's gained. Alexander Lauritsen is the highest mover of positions. Yeah. As you can see, these guys in 9th, 10th, 11th, 10, 10, 11, and then 14 positions for Lauritsen. They just really, that is a very indicative of a poor qualifying.
Yeah, we're seeing these guys not waste any time getting through the field. And they're showing that they not just only have the quality pace, they do have the racecraft too, which you have to be a top Clio driver.
Yeah, and you can see as we just scroll through the field here, we got Matazewski out, Ryan Callan out with an engine, Simon Shepard DNF, Pedro Amaral suspension. So as you can see, that looks like a lot of the core guys have bunched up here. But down the inside, it looked like Jay Adji trying to have a look down the inside of Nicholas Falk. We'll go through. Gary Lennon had a terrible start to this race. As you can actually see here, let me just get to it. Gary Lennon has lost 8 positions so far in this race. So not the best start to this second round here in the Tom Onslow-Cole Clio Series.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Gary's teammate is John Monroe, who's up there in 5th position. So Gary, he cannot be happy whatsoever to be down that far in 20th. On the field right now.
So, Tom, I just want to pick your brain again, being Mr. Onslow-Cole. Rietveld now is losing to his teammate, Jack Keithley. His lap times have dropped off by about half a second. what's going through his head right now as he sees his teammate close in? Like, what can he do to harness, the energy to keep himself at pace?
Yeah, it's really interesting watching the times now, because you can see that gap is just closing down. Interestingly, these guys in practice, I saw them a lot running like this, with this kind of air between them. Keithley generally being the second car, so he's confident in this position. How it's going to affect Rietveld with him closing down is very difficult. He's got to be mindful not to push too hard and use his tyres. And also, he's got the team to think about as well. So there's probably a number of things running through his mind right now. Yeah. One of them is probably that he's wishing the laps counting down slightly faster.
He's wishing he was in a time machine rather than a Clio, right?
I think so, definitely. At this stage, when you're out on your own, it can be very difficult. Keithley here has got a benchmark in front of him that is providing him with a constant braking marker and a shadow, a ghost car to follow through. Whereas Rietvald's really got to keep his head and set the pace until the end of the race.
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't seem to be ticking off very fast, because Jeffrey's now doing 1:17.9s when 5 laps ago he was running almost a full second faster. So obviously a number of factors are playing in here, maybe just not being comfortable with the tire wear in these cars. We've seen him dominate a race from start to finish in the V8s and just absolutely trump the field for tire wear, for consistency, for pace. But obviously just getting a handle on these Clios, being his first race in them, even if he doesn't win this race, or if he doesn't pull off like a second or third, it doesn't really matter. We can see that there is the promise that he's going to have some good results in these cars for sure. And Kilo is now actually closing in on both of these guys, now only 2.9 seconds back.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Kilo, he's been slowly snaking these guys in. And I know I said it earlier, because at Brands Hatch's tire wear was phenomenal. And if things keep up like this, we're going to see Kilo have a look, perhaps even for the race win.
I think that is very, very possible. We've got quite a few laps left to go. We haven't made the halfway stage just yet, and he looks like he's looked after things well. He's starting to reel them back in. But as you said about Rietveld, there's no way you can't write him off. He's done a sterling job to come in and be this quick straight out the box. If he hasn't got his tyre wear quite right, I think we can guarantee he will from his performance in the V8 Championship.
Oh yeah, definitely, and he's with the right team, and he will work towards it now that he's got the pace here. But while we were talking shop about the precision, Levesque makes a beautiful move on Salo to take the 8th position, is now on a bit of a tear, trying to work his way up to his teammate Chris Butcher and Jesper Talberg, who are just a little ways up the road, about 3.4 seconds ahead. But Levesque seems to be charging. He seems like a man possessed right now. Probably a little upset at the fact that he didn't qualify where he really felt he should be.
Oh, I imagine so. He was going to be my pick for the race, but with a 15-second gap now, he's got a tough ordeal. But he's come through the field really, really strong, and he still seems to have just a slight advantage over the cars in front of him. But definitely, as he's climbed through the field, it's starting to level out.
Yeah, and the thing about Levesque, obviously, we also saw him have struggles in Q1 at Brands Hatch. He seems like he needs to get this first race under his belt before he kind of gets the nerves under him. So I definitely expect Levesque to do better in Q2 and hopefully become a race contender like you're saying, Tom, because I definitely think, he has the race pace. It's just now about his quality pace, if he can get that under control so he can get a little closer to these precision guys at the start of the event.
The gap at the front now down to 0.6 of a second. This is really into sort of striking territory now. They're running very, very close, and as you can see there, Rietveld just missing his apexes as well. Keithley looking a lot more under control, like he can really place the car where he wants it. This is going to be interesting to see how this unfolds over the next few laps.
You remember Keithley, he finished second in race 1 at Brands Hatch, third in race 2. So yeah, he's comfortable in these anywhere on the podium, but we've yet to see Keithley try to make a move on his teammate, and we might actually see the first attempt from Mr. Keithley to go get himself a race win. Because I think he realized he has to do it because Keilov is going to be there in only a few laps.
Look, there's Keilov right there. He's on the back of Keithley already.
There. Yeah.
He's 2.1 seconds back of Rietveld, 1.5 seconds back of Keithley. So this is just a matter of now, can he keep Kilo behind him? This is 1 and 2 in the championship. Rietveld is not, I wouldn't say out of the championship, but realistically, with missing a full event, I would say he is not promised to win it with the performances of his teammates here. Now the gap down to 1.3 seconds.
This is certainly something we have to keep our eye on. We're about halfway through the race, so we have a lot of time to go here. This is not going to really be about who's got the lap pace. It's just who can keep the tires on.
Look at this.
Wow, Keith, he's
all
right there.
He's all over the back of Rietveld now, and it's just going to be a matter. I do believe though, when you're talking a championship like this, and this is these guys have been teammates for quite a while now. If he is that much quicker per lap, the move's going to be. I would think it would be a friendlier move to get by. Unless Rietveld just really wants to go. He goes so deep, misses the apex into 1 through 2. Keithley's got to run, crosses over to the outside, down into 3. Not the ideal spot to make a pass, but Rietveld's now got the ideal line down to the inside. Kilo's going to close. Keithley around the outside, maybe try to cut back. Not quite cuts back now. Is he going to get down the inside? Fender to fender here. Rietveld comes across on his teammate's nose. Well, maybe he's just saying, I want this, and you're going to have to earn it, Mr. Keithley.
I must admit, I did not expect Rietveld to put up too much of a fight, but yeah, he certainly fended off that position from Keithley, and now we have Kilo right stuck on the back of this battle. We have 3 battle for the lead.
Sideways. Oh, this is great stuff. I love seeing this, and Tom, you can relate to this running the Clios in the past. Like it's great to be this close and just running in such close quarters.
The racing is fantastic, and at the moment I think Keithley's actually got the hardest job, because in one hand he needs to attack to try and get through to the lead, if that is his game plan, but now he's got Kilov so close behind him. He's also got to bear in mind any move that he puts on Rietveld could potentially slip him down to 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely, and I you know what, it just doesn't. Ooh, Kilo deep into 1. Wow, if he gets into the back of the team boss, that might have been a pretty tough meeting a little later on. But Rietveld, I just don't think he wants to concede. I think he would like to rather try to make them earn it here. As a Kilo down to the inside of the 3, not quite there, using a little too much curve. Keithley's going to get the run. But now Rietveld has a little bit of a gap, but I just don't see it being enough, as Keithley is just chomping at the bit trying to get by Rietveld. Rietveld been making little mistake here and there, but he's running a 1:19.224 now, 16 laps into this race, when 10 laps ago he was running a 1:17.1. So obviously tires gone off, starting to do a little bit of mirror driving is affecting this overall pace, and Toby Davis is closing, but not fast enough that he can challenge them unless something potentially happens.
I think another real interesting thing here is the shift in the team dynamic. At Brands Hatch, we saw a very clinical, planned race.
Yes.
And it was very slick. They executed their plan to precision. Here, though, we're seeing that actually now they're starting to unbar some of the holes a little bit, and they're having a bit of a go at each other. I think they feel quite comfortable in the championship that this is the tripod, as you like to call it.
Yeah. Well, Kilo having a look down
again.
Kilo is just obviously he's willing to make a move. They're both. This is there's a big prize that you yourself and Team Hart have come up with, and these guys both want it. I know Kilo races karts in real life, and Jack Keithley I know wants nothing more than to get behind the wheel of a real car. So they're going to battle tooth and nail. I don't know anyone on this track is feeling the same way, but right now these guys, this tripod is precise. Well, they're precisely just dominating the field.
They really are. It's now a 7-second gap back between Kilov and Davis. He has dropped back there, but the racing action at the front is really hot. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a sort of formed race, really, but these guys are going at it for sure. And at the moment, from my perspective, I'm looking at Kilov. It seems that he can really place his car well under braking. He doesn't miss it. Oh, is he through?
No, he's still side by side, but he's going to have the outside here for 11. Keithley's got the toe in behind Rietveld. Kilo is really, really anxious to get by Keithley, I think, because I think he feels if he can get by Keithley and by Rietveld, he can get a buffer. Keithley looking down the inside, defending Rietveld, 3 wide, down into turn 1. Kilo's got the inside for 2, up the inside of Keithley. He's through. Kilo is through into second, but Keithley's going to defend. Oh, Kilo squeezing his teammate.
Wow.
Oh, this is true battling as Kilo moves to the outside, maybe realizes that's my team boss. Let's take it easy here.
I think Tom put his finger on it. It looks like under braking, Kilov's just got so much confidence with that car. He can put it wherever he wants at this point. And it looks like it's just going to pick and choose exactly where to get Keithley.
Yeah, I do have to say though, guys, for all the viewers, I would like to get back to the field, but this is a battle for the lead, and it's all yellow currently, but this is a battle for this race win between teammates. This is the story that's got to be told. As Kilo looks down the inside, hard under braking, he's through.
There
Kilo
it is.
into second by Keithley, a very precise move. That deserves a very nice slow motion replay as he just timed it so perfectly. Look at this, as he gets in the slipstream, he comes through this corner, just moves the car across and just commits. Locks up, sideways, absolutely stunning move. No contact, Keithley just concedes, and he moves on through. Beautiful move by Kilo, fantastic stuff.
Really, really well executed, but you can see he's on the limit there. He's got the car crossed up coming into the corner, trying to scrub the speed, but still he manages to make his apex and get a good exit. I think he's got a great car underneath him. It'd be interesting to see what he can do now.
Yeah, Riefeld's going to be in massive trouble here because with Keithley, he's a little bit more clinical with finding his overtaking opportunities. But Kilo, if he's got any type of room, he's going to put his car there, and he's just not going to have any of a slower car being in front of him.
Yeah, he's looking very dicey right now. I know that Kilo he's feeling this because if he can get Riefeld in between him, he's seen that Keithley was struggling to get by Riefeld. This would give him a nice buffer and a few points gap, and possibly take over this points championship going into the second race of this second round here. But I'm just going to quickly mention what's going on behind. You've got Toby Davis now to 5.9 seconds. Monroe, Talberg, Butcher, and Ely are all in a fairly close battle. We will get to them if we see something decisive break up at the front here. But it's so close to get away from. I'm going to quickly give these guys a shout here. As you can see, Talberg is now down the inside of Monroe, going for fifth, just for Talberg. No, Monroe holds the inside. Talberg holds the outside, can't quite make it. Comes through. Now we're going to go to the left. Talberg's got the inside. Monroe squeezing on the outside, not going to happen. Talberg takes fifth position. Very dominant move, and he's up to fifth. Talberg taking over that fifth spot. So it's precision, THR, ice cold.
And look at all those THR cars stacking up behind poor John Monroe. He's going to have his hands absolutely full holding on to that sixth position.
Just to bring this battle back to the front again, just the mindset of Riefeld now is we started to notice about lap 12 that he was starting to struggle a bit, but here we are, we're 8 laps later, and he's still in the lead.
Yeah.
He's halfway. He's nearly done it. And that's going to start setting into his mindset as well. He needs to keep doing what he's doing, make his car wide, and potentially he can still hold on to this.
Yeah, it's looking really good for him at the moment, but there is it's 26 laps, and there's just so many corners that any one of those moments through those corners into the braking zone, Kilo could just pull one of those moves like he did on Keithley, and that was probably one of and he's squeezed through. I don't think he's going to get it because he's got the inside now. Riefeld gets the hold there. He seems to be leaving the openings where Kilo will not get the move through, but Kilo might be able to try a hard brake move into one. Not going to happen. And let's see, Keithley. Now Keithley's now sniffing all over the back of him.
Yeah,
he's trying to make it through.
Yeah, Keithley's trying to position his car, looking for a move to get right back through on Kilo. So this one can still finish anyway.
Oh, Keithley trying the outside. It's not going to happen though because it's just such a long left-hand corner there, and they just slot back in, and it's like a train of yellow here.
Yeah, and just a quick update from the back. We have lost Ben Davis. Ben, he was into the pits earlier, but now he has retired from the race, so I'm assuming some type of mechanical failure there from Ben Davis.
Oh, look at this. Look at this. There's a mistake from Riefeld. Kilo trying to capitalize. He's got the inside. Little bit of contact. Not quite going to do it. Riefeld loses control a little bit sideways. And Kilo, 3 wide. 3 wide. Keithley down the inside. Kilo down the inside. Contact. Keithley through on Kilo. Right in the same spot again. How's that for you, boys?
Keithley says, you can't listen, young fella, okay? You're not going to get past me just so easily. I'm not done yet. I am the championship leader.
Oh, boy. Tom, I mean, this is some good stuff here. Now, Keithley's looking to go by Riefeld.
This is really exciting. We've got 5 laps left to go. and this is really hotting up. Rietveld at the front just clearly hasn't got the pace to break away, even with these guys battling tooth and nail. But can he make his car wide? He's doing a good job.
Kilo's around the outside in one. Contact with his boss through two. He's through. Rietveld, he's pulled away a bit now, but they're back in line. It's just, this is all-out warfare. Toby Davis is now only 4.5 seconds back at the last gap. I think he's going to get close to them by the end of this race if this keeps up.
Definitely, this battling's really holding them up. It really is. There is no holds barred here. There's been a fair amount of contact in any sniff of a gap, and there's a Clio straight in there.
Oh man, I tell you, Toby Davis is probably 3.4 seconds now for Davis. This is like winning the lottery for Toby right now, because he struggled all race, just kind of sitting there. I'm gonna actually quick have a look at his lap times and see where he rides lap by lap. He has been consistently in the 19s, and he's kind of sniffed into the 18s throughout this. Oh, look at these guys side by side again. Kilo's now through. Where did Rietveld go?
Whoa, Rietveld! Whoa!
Well, where did Rietveld go? Whoa,
He's falling through the field. He's 10th.
What? Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Maybe he's running out of fuel.
No. Oh, he must have missed one of the beacons. Yeah, okay, he's still there.
There we go.
Sorry, we didn't mean to give it. If anyone has a heart condition, we apologize. Rietveld missed one of the timing beacons, so we thought he was down through the grid. But Rietveld now a comfortable 1.6 seconds ahead of both Kilo and Keithley. Tom, he's more than halfway there now.
I think now he's got to really keep his head down. He's got just as big a gap as he ever had in this race, and you know he's played it. I say played it. I don't think he probably planned it this way, but he's got to just keep it very, very clean. And even if he drops, you know, nearly half a second a lap, he's still got this.
Well, these guys got Kilo is just raw pace right now, and he started to pull away from Keithley, but that doesn't mean anything really, because we've seen when he gets behind Rietveld, Rietveld is doing a hell of a job keeping his teammates behind him. It's just been incredible defending on his part, but Keithley now probably a little disheartened that he's lost such a gap to Kilo, because he was right there, he was battling with him hard. I mean, it looks like it could be just a third place finish for him at this point.
Well, look how quickly Kilov's closed the gap, though. That's incredible. That's nearly a full sort of 1.6 seconds just over the lap.
Yeah, it's uncanny his ability to close. And it's just, I think it's just a raw it's just just pure passion pushing to get there, because Rietveld is simply just trying to hold on, and Kilo is pushing to get there. And obviously he's kept himself together a little bit, and he's got that pace. He's going to probably have a look down the inside into 3. No, thinks better of it.
And one of the most remarkable things about this whole battle is that, you know, Precision, they've been fighting each other for all these laps, and Toby Davis still hasn't really been able to make that much of a remarkable increase on these guys.
This is coming into 4. Rietveld is pure defensive at this point, coming through 4, through 5. Kilo just on the back, trying to get a good run out of 5, down into 6. We're going to go through 7 here, quick left. Whose car is going to hold? This is going into 8. This is going into 8 where he made the pass on his boss. Down the inside. Kilo!
Oh, there it
sideways.
is.
No, Rietveld squeezes him through and holds the position.
3 more laps here for Rietveld.
It's a slight risk there, because if in Kilov's position now, you'd probably take stock. You know, he's got 11, 12 corners to make his move. He maybe shouldn't have gone for that and saved it for the surprise on the very last lap. Hopefully, Rietveld would have seen that and he's going to be aware of it on the next lap.
He's got him. He's got overlap as Rietveld squeezes his teammate down to the inside into 1. Kilo goes really wide into 1. He's not going to like getting squeezed like that as Rietveld pushes through the corner, loses, understeers like crazy. Kilo crosses back over. Rietveld parks on the apex, and now it's a 3-car battle with Toby Davis just in the background. Rietveld pure defensive here.
Rietveld not having any of Kilo getting around him. I think he knows exactly. He's got 2 more laps in this race, and he's held him off so far. He does not want to give it away here at the last few laps.
I like what Kilo just did there. Do you see how he lifted off so he can get a better run through 4 and 5? He lifted off so he's got a distance. Now he knows he's got a gap. He's faster through 6 and 7. He can throw one up the inside into 8. Watch, comes through 7. No, not quite.
Rietveld holds it. Holds the gap there.
Rietveld manages to get his car together and hold it through there. Toby Davis 2.2 seconds back now. This could be a 4-car race headed onto the final lap. This is intense. I know we've been seeing a lot of yellow here, guys, but you can't deny that this is some of the best racing we've seen in a bit.
Toby Davis only comes into play here if these three guys all get together and have some type of contact.
Of course. No, and I mean, honestly, the way things have gone here, anything can happen. As Kilo now trying to do the around the outside. Rietveld is really pushing the issue on this defending because he's squeezing, he's kind of lane widening. Kilo down around the outside into one. He loses it, goes sideways. Keithley's through. Kilo's onto the sand. Toby Davis is going to cut across. He's not going to quite do it. Let's go back. Toby Davis is through. He's through.
He's done it.
He's into third. Toby Davis takes the spot away from Kilo as now it's Rietveld, Keithley, Davis. Davis goes wide into 3.
Toby's just got to really cut Kilo off here. He's only got to hold him up for one more lap, so it's definitely possible now Toby can get on this podium.
Oh, this is intense because right now, and also Rietveld is now under attack as Kilo tries the outside into 4. Not going to happen through 5. He puts Toby Davis wide. Contact. Davis sideways. Kilo going to have to lift off. Be a gentleman here as he goes through 7, 8. Or sorry, 6 and 7. And then now we're down into 8. This is where he's been throwing them down the inside. Rietveld is under attack. We're going to have to get on Rietveld. Give him his due if he commands to pull up. No! It's Keithley! He's through! Keithley is taking the lead from Jeffrey Rietveld. Rietveld back through line. Rietveld crossover once, twice. Keithley bumps him side by side through the final corners. Rietveld's got it, runs him wide. Keithley can't quite hold it. He crosses back. Oh my God! Keithley's gonna do it. He's through. Wow. They passed each other 4 times on the final few corners, and Jack Keithley crosses the line to take the win here in the Tom Onslow-Cole Clio Series, with Rietveld taking a very heartbreaking second position.
My goodness.
Oh dear.
Can you believe it? How much do you feel now? 2 corners to go.
That is probably that is going to be the hardest second place to ever take in all of your racing, is where you've done everything right and you fought it all the way to the end and you lose it in the last corner. But you know what? He lost it to his teammate who really pushed and earned it. That was incredible. Let's do a quick rundown. Jack Keithley in first, Rietveld in second, Toby Davis with a charge back up to third, Kilo in fourth, Tallberg in fifth, Ely sixth, Levesque seventh. So some guys making some serious progress getting back up through the field. Monroe in eighth, Butcher ninth, Wiesa Mueller in 10th, Rasmus Salo in 11th, Lauritsen up to 12th, Pipo Rodriguez in 13th, Gary Lennon 14th, Darren Adams in 15th, Heinz Petzold 16th, Eric Strawn in 17th, Luca Peklach 18th, 19th is Nick Hughes, and Jay Agee in 20th. So, I mean, can you sum up what you just saw there, Tom?
No, to be sure. It's incredible. I really feel for Rietveld. He did such a good job of maintaining the race lead, and he kept his cool. He defended very, very well, but on the last lap there, it was just too much. And it looks like they're having a bit of... they're just settling their debate, are they, on the in-lap there? So clearly a little of frustration through the team. But this is fantastic to see. A team that are so on top of the game. They've got a clear advantage at the moment over the rest of the field, but they are not holding anything back.
Well, I got to say that was incredible stuff. I would like to give a shout out to Kamil Yazinski, who is in Thailand currently and has actually stayed up till 8 in the morning to watch this race. So big shout out to Kamil. We will be right back. We're going to give you a couple of videos. We're going to catch our breaths, and we'll be back very shortly with some more racing action and qualifying for race 2. Be right back.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Hello everybody and welcome back. We are here live from Varano, Demiligari for the second race of the second round of the Tom Onslow-Cole Clio Series. We were joined by him for the first round, and I actually got a quote of him saying that this is better than the real thing. So I just got to say that it was a pleasure having him in the booth, and he actually went down to give a congratulations to the guys who just finished racing and putting on one of the best shows we've actually ever seen on the last lap in Touring Pro Series history. So hopefully that gives them a little bit of motivation going into the second race. But here we are once again. We are back to qualifying, Super Pole. We saw a couple guys struggle, Danny, like we saw Ely and Levesque both struggle, but they ended up coming back up into the 6th and 7th position, which is incredible considering how far back they were. We do have the timing problem here in qualifying once again, so we do apologize. We are on board with Toby Davis right now, but if you see the timing does not give you an actual reading, we will be sorting that out for the next race. We just apologize, but we'll give you all the action here.
I'm curious what Toby Davis is going to be able to come up with here, because obviously he qualified 4th for in Q1, and wow, a 17 flat, a solid time, but certainly not going to be good enough to improve on his 4th in Q1.
Yeah. He's not lighting any worlds on fire with that. Like we saw. The majority of the pace seemed to be a little bit off in the first practice, in the first qualifying, and unfortunately, it's going to have to be fast. That pole is going to be quicker. As Pedro Amaral goes to a 17.3, Darren Adams to a 17.5. Davis wants to be clear of that. He should have been down. Jesper Talbrook 17.4. So again, we're seeing guys really struggle. And actually, Tom had touched on this in the first race. He had touched on the fact that guys get into a comfort zone of where they're at for like handling of the car.
Yeah, to get used to having the car on a extended stint with the tires are warmed
exactly,
up, and then
exactly.
it's hard to get out there with the low fuel and the no grip of cold tires and put up a great lap. And so, an interesting thing we saw in Q1 Tom Ely and William Levesque get out on the track, the first two guys. Now they're sitting in the pits and they're watching. Okay, so they're trying to, I think, collect themselves and not really kind of go out there too early. Like we saw obviously in Q1.
Well, and right now we're following along with Ryan Callan, who I talked with him at 17.8. He's not going to be happy. He's back in the field again. He ended up accidentally downshifting into first gear, so that was a very unfortunate incident for him because that ended his race prematurely. As we scroll through trying to find someone who's on a lap, unfortunately we're just struggling a little bit with the timing. Robert Wiesemuller is now on track. I do believe he's on his out lap. As the rest of the field kind of fills in here,
a lot of these guys are in the pit lane, and they're just waiting. It looks like. I mean, because obviously that was precision strategy in Q1 to wait into the final 2 minutes, perhaps. But now it looks like the rest of the field is going to do the same thing. Maybe they're hoping maybe the track even heats up. I don't know what they're looking for here because I don't think rFactor really works that way. But it seems like most of the field are now waiting in the pits a little longer.
Well, I think it's a little bit of posturing too, maybe. But the other thing is this session seems to have a little bit longer time on it, so people are probably just maybe gathering a drink. I'm sure those precision guys of Rietveld, Kilo, and Keithley are probably had to go get a drink and just relax for a minute.
Yeah.
Because it was just intense, and that'll be on highlight reels till the end of time.
It looks like Tom Ely is just finishing his out lap, and I'm curious to see what he can come up with because he was actually perhaps the fastest THR driver through pre-practice as we saw. But again, like we've covered, him and Levite were very much off the pace in Q1. We'll see what Ely can come up with as he starts his quality lap here in Q2.
Let's see if he can get through turn 1 because I know like him and Levite both had the same problem. Like because you're trying to use all the track, get the car slowed down and not go too deep. Beautiful.
There we go.
It. There you go. And he showed that he's got the speed because he made up.
What are we seeing there?
I see just a little bit of lag there from Tom. Just his connection just disconnected for a quick second. We saw this with Kilo in qualifying as well too. So, but Kilo
and a lot of drivers actually complained about that. They said Kilo was all over the place. It kind of disrupted a few people out there. But hopefully we won't see any more of that from Kilo in Q2.
Well, here it is. Tom Ely's gone purple. We don't know exactly the time he's done just because of the timing issue, but as you see, he's lagging just a little bit. We've seen this from Tom once in the past with his connection, but I'm sure it should get sorted out.
And Gary Lennon up to P2, and Pedro Amaral up to...
Excellent.
And actually, Pedro, he holds P3 after sending an early Q time.
Well, who else do we have? So we've got Tom Ely out on track. We've got Chris Butcher out. Levesque is out as well. That's the one I'm interested in is Levesque. I think you're going to see some fire under him coming up here because he's not going to be happy. Kilo's out on track as well too. Well, here we are. We're on board with Tom Ely as he comes across the line. We're going to see if he can take down Toby Davis and take the pole position. Done it. 1:17.018.
Just barely. Wow.
Just barely squeezes it through. But now let's get to the nitty gritty here. We've got Simon Kilo is out on track. He is on his out lap.
Here we go.
This is the one. He had the out and out pace over the rest of the field. As Thomas Mataszewski goes into the 8th position at a 1:17.579.
If Kilo gets out in front, if he gets on pole position, it's going to be trouble for the rest of the field, even the precision guys, because like you said, Keith, he was the fastest of the precision tripod. If he can get that pole position, that clean air, then he could be gone, Keith, absolutely gone.
Well, this is a key moment here as Kilo is out. Let's see. I'm just gonna have a quick look. Keithley is out as well too, on track. He is in in his out lap. So we'll get Kilo and then we'll get Keithley. Rietveld is also actually starting his hot. Oh, sorry, that's Kilo. Rietveld has not even left the pits yet. So obviously he's waiting to the very, very last second, potentially so he can see what times his teammates are going to lay down, so he knows how hard he has to push. Very smart. That's a very smart strategy if you ask me.
Yeah, you've got to think he's quite a bit gutted after race one. Maybe he wants to take as much time as possible to recollect his nerves and get himself together to try to get a pole position again. And I think actually, yeah, Rico, he just pulled out of his stall, and he's going to be on with the closing segments like he was in Q1.
Well, Chris Butcher slots into the 5th position with a 1:17.1, and you see Kilo is purple in Sector 1. There's no question that this guy's got pace.
Levesque, 16.6, the fastest time we've seen through quali. Well done by William Levesque. There we go.
That was the guy I was talking about that I wanted to see what he had, because he had an incredible run through the field. Kilo is still purple.
He's still purple,
So
wow.
That means he is still faster than Levesque. Levesque at a 16. Keithley to a 16.5.
Wow, my goodness.
So Kilo is the only one who can dethrone Keithley and Levesque. But what times by these two drivers. We still have Rietveld to get out on track, so we'll follow Kilo to the end of this lap, and let's see what Kilo can do. Kilo's looking to take down Keithley at a 16.568. Can he do it as he crosses the line? No! Into 3rd, so let's get on board with Rietveld.
Well off indeed. He's at 16.9.
Well,
so he really dropped it through that final sector, Keith.
Oh, and Simon, he's just went purple there for a second. Don't mind that purple. The timing's a little bit off. Rietveld is the man that we have remaining to follow with. So let's see where Rietveld is going to slot in. Rietveld
Yeah, okay. This is his end of his hot lap here for
this is the out lap for Rietveld. This is just to start. This is the final lap we're going to get to see. So Rietveld is the only man left to take a time. He's wanting some spotlight, as if he didn't get enough in the first round. As he eats a little too much curb, that's going to cost him a little bit. But can he slot in somewhere in the midst of these guys? Because we saw Rietveld had great pace at the start, but fell off. So he needs to get out front, is what he needs to do, and try to defend one more time.
Yeah, and William Levesque he's probably just so disappointed that he didn't get pole. You would think with a 16.6 that it was in the bag, but Keithley coming up with an unbelievable time to snatch it away from the French Canadian.
Yeah, and right now it's the lineup's looking like Precision, THR, Precision, THR, Rasmus
yeah, it's
Salo,
much more mixed. You're right.
Yeah, it is. Rasmus Salo, great time by him. We just missed him again, sitting in 6th. And he is purple. Rietveld is purple on Jack Keithley, 16.568. Can he go to the pole position and get out front of his teammates once again?
This sector 3 looks really good, yeah.
This is 10 and 11. This is the tough part. Oh, he goes a little deep. Oh, he gets the grip. Right out to the corner. He's going to push now right up to the outside of the track. This is the final run here. Last time here in qualifying, Jeffrey Rietveld looking to take the pole position. Can he do it? No. 3rd position at a 16.714. So the grid is set. We are going to be finished qualifying here, head into warm-up. We'll be back with you in just a moment to give you the rundown.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Hello, welcome back to the Tom Onslow-Cole Series. My name is Danny Asbury. Here we're about to pick up the action, but we're just going to give you a quick rundown through the grid through Q2. Topping the timesheets is not Keith Berg, that's my colleague.
I'm right here, Danny.
Yeah, we're looking at Jack Keithley, who tops the timesheets. I mean, if it was you, Keith, you'd be last position, you know, but...
Yeah, thanks, Danny.
Jack Keithley leads it for Precision Motorsports, stealing a pole position, really, from William Levike on P2 for THR. We have Jeffrey Rietveld, a pole position winner from Q1 on P3 here. We have Simon Keeloff, who finished fourth last race and is now starting fourth for race 2. Tom Ely on fifth position. Nice to see both Levesque and Ely recover from their poor qualifying in Q1. Toby Davis, he finished Q1 in position 4, but now he is position 6 for Q2. Rasmus Salo, a very solid Q result from him after I think he started 20th in race 1. We have Gary Lennon in 8th. And I believe that is Ryan Collin, who just exited the game.
Chris Butcher, actually.
Chris Butcher there in ninth position for THI. Pedro Amaral, who continues his solid results. Obviously, he started well in race 1, but he DNF'd. He starts here in race 2, position 10. Jasper Talbot, haven't seen too much from him here tonight, but he's in 11th.
You finished 5th in the first round, didn't you?
5th, except we just didn't see too much of him because we were just locked in on the Precision tripod. We have Heinz Petzold for Core Racing in 12th, with Darren Adams, the other Core Racing driver, in 13th. Thomas Mazowski for THR in 14th, with Pipo Rodriguez, the GT Competizione driver, there in 15th. Obviously, remember, Pipo, he was promoted to Division 1 because of his race win in Division 2. In 16th, we have John Monroe for Ice Cold. John qualified P6 for Q1, now down to 16th. Not going to be happy with that. Luca Peklaj there for Core Racing in 17th. Alexander Lawrenson continues his bad Q form, is in 18th, with, I believe this is Ryan Collin, in 19th. We have 20th Simon Shepard for Core Racing, with Jay Adji, another THR driver, in 21st. Nicholas Folk there for Creek Racing in 25th, with Jimmy Hughes, 23rd. We'll have, you know what, I skipped Tommy Ohala in 22nd there for EOR. We have Robert Wiesenmuller for 23rd THR. Nicholas Folk, Creek Racing. Jimmy Hughes, Walk Racing, as that we're going to round out the order here, as we're now in 25th position, or 26th position rather, with Eric Strawn, Ice Cold Racing. Nick Hughes there for Surreal Illusions. Ben Davis continuing his bad form. Remember, he qualified, I believe, 28th in Q1 as well. And now we have Jonathan Okercliffe there, 29th, and Lee Palmer will round up our field of 30 drivers here for the second race here at Poznan.
Well, you mean Varano,
Varano, yeah.
So we now are finished up here. Tom Onslow-Cole was nice enough to join us for the first round, and blended in great in the booth here. We're really glad that he could join us, and really thankful for him to be involved in this and offering this opportunity. And actually, his words were that this is better than the real thing, watching that first race with the battle up front there. And honestly, both Danny and I are both in the same agreement that is probably one of the most memorable final laps in TPS history. So if you've seen it and you enjoyed it, make sure you watch it back. You can catch it all again at youtube.com/TouringProSeries. But we're headed here into the second race of the second round of the Tom Onslow-Cole Clio Series. And I'm expecting some more fireworks, because look what we got now. We got Levesque right in the middle of it.
See, that's the whole change that we got to deal with for this second race. Levesque, remember, I think he might be the one driver from the THR stable that can keep his tires together like the Precision drivers. So if Levesque can just stay with this tripod, so to speak, then perhaps we can get a race winner outside the Precision camp.
Well, and also, the two guys that struggled in qualifying, Levesque and Ely, they're right there.
He's got his teammate right there, yep.
Yeah, and Toby being in 6th. Also, again, it throws a mix, but we've seen great starts. We saw a great start from Toby,
yeah,
but just not quite the pace. And I mean, he ended up ultimately getting a third place finish. due to the battling between the Precision drivers. So I'm sure he's going to want to rectify that and possibly try to stay in the mix and potentially challenge. But we didn't see the pace, so I don't know if that's possible.
See, that's the problem from Toby. 2 races now, we've seen him just go, from the word go, just get right up next to the Precision cars and give them trouble. But he just falls away. He burns those tires and he just falls back. That's the most remarkable thing I've seen from Precision. They are able to keep this blistering pace and just keep it for the whole race because the tire wear is just so much less than the other drivers. So that's why I'm particularly keen on watching Levesque here as he sits on the front row with Keith.
Yeah, and there's a number of things. Rasmus Salo having a great qualifying again. He showed a little bit of pace throughout the race. Did fall off a little bit at the end there, but Gary Lennon is now in the mix as well. Pedro Amaral being in 10th. Let's hope he can have a little better fortune in this race because he's going to need some good points to ultimately remain in Division 1 because I know that there's some hot shoes in Division 2 that are snipping at the bit to get themselves into the big show here, and every result and every point counts to maintain staying in Server 1 and being part of this. Let's just hope we can see some great racing action once again between not just the Precision guys, but let's have some THR mixed in. And I'd love to see Salo battling up there, but right now it's a Precision fest, and I'm sure they're loving us talking about them, but they're earning it. So we are lining up here for now what is the start of the second race here. It's going to be 26 laps. They've just completed their formation lap. As Keith Lee lines up, we're going to wait to see the lights. We're going to wait to see them go out. They're going to light up. We're going to see 4 one at a time, and then when they're out, it is green, green, green. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We're waiting for the lights to go out to start the race, and away they go. It's green, 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 green. Jack Keithley's out. He's out front here as he's got William Levesque to the outside of him. Let's have a look what he's got as he's headed down into turn 1. William Levesque looking to the outside in 1. Not going to do it. Contact in behind. They bunch up. There's a bunch of people sideways. Everyone seems to have survived. Everyone seems to have got through. Levesque is through to the lead. He's by Keithley, but Keithley has the run down into turn 3. Everyone seems to have survived into 3. They're 4 wide into 3 in behind. Well, who is this? And everyone seems to have survived. The biggest gainer here would be Rasmus Salo up to 4th place. And where's Kilo? Kilo's back into 9th.
Wow. The THR teams have lost out a little bit too. Ely and Toby Davis down to 13th, so he really got
start
mixed up by that.
But, who is this? What happened here? We've got some contact. Chris Butcher up onto the grass side by side with Simon Kilo. Kilo is now into 8th position, but not where he wants to be. Chris Butcher sideways up over the curb. Davis looking to go by his teammate. Davis is through on Butcher. Butcher now the inside. He's sideways. He's lost control. Comes across the front of the Precision car, and he's out. So now Kilo, get back into the race. He's got to get back onto the track. What's happened here? We've now lost Chris Butcher. He's into the wall, completely out of the race. Lauritsen is up with his nearest teammate, Kilo. But Kilo, the big loser there, getting with Butcher losing control of his car. Let's have a look at what happened here. So as we come across, let's have a look at Kilo's car. In the background, you can see Butcher loses control, and he's
Amaral that gave him a little bump, maybe.
He might have got a bump by Amaral, but as he gets come across. But let's get back live because we've got some more action still going on here. Kilo up into 11th. Let's get up to the front and see what's happened with the battle up here.
You've got Lennon and Salo right there in the top 5, so that's very good to see. Hopefully those guys can just stick there throughout the race.
And that is extremely frustrating for Simon Kilo after having such a promising run. This is detrimental to a championship run where you make a mistake in race 1 and then you fall back and lose some spots in the second run. But as you see, he's now battling with John Monroe, who had a great run in race 1. Finishing, I believe, in 7th or 8th place. But John Monroe is now under full attack from Alexander Lauritsen.
Yeah, Monroe, he started 16th, he's already up to 12th, but looks like Kilo is going to get around him for that 12th position.
No, sorry, that was Lauritsen. Kilo just went by Heinz Petzold for the 9th position. He's back on charge. Heinz Petzold is under attack from Pipo Rodriguez. This has been a little frantic, a little more so than the first race. I think people are just feeling a little more antsy to get moves done sooner because they saw how spread out things got, and they just didn't want to have that happen in this race. But that leaves Petzold 10th, Kilo up to 9th, Davis in 8th, Ely in 7th, Tallberg in 6th, Lennon in 5th. With Salo, a great run and great start for him to maintain his spot there in 4th position.
Yeah, and Salo, he hasn't fallen away from this leading trio of Keithley, Levesque, and Rietveld. So maybe Salo's got that race pace. We talked about that during race one. His race pace, as how it picked up from Brands Hatch, and so far he's looking very good here, Keith.
Yeah, I think that what we're looking at here is a potential. Well, we've got a sandwich first off, a precision sandwich with some THR in the middle. Rietveld, though, being in that position, I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say that that's not where he wants to be or needs to be or feel he needs to be, simply because he saw what happened to his pace as he fell off near the end of the race there. So he's gonna feel he needs to get up. As you can see, the crippled car of Chris Butcher parked in the sand over there seems to be out on the beach like David Hasselhoff.
I don't know why he's not exiting out the game. Maybe a technical issue there from Chris.
Not 100% sure, but it is not. It's not good. It's all bad for Chris Butcher here in this race. But Levesque under constant pressure now from Rietveld. Rietveld sets the fastest lap at a 17.1. He looks down the inside into turn one. Done it. He's through. Rietveld up to second spot. Levesque just eases off and thinks, okay, maybe I'll let Rietveld go after his teammate. But I don't know if that's going to happen this soon, because this is going to be, well, this is a tight battle as it is. Levesque looking to the outside into 3. And it's not quite there. And down the inside, in behind.
Oh, there's Gary. There's Lennon.
Salo, Gary Lennon to 4th. Book it.
Wow, very nicely done from Gary Lennon. I thought Salo, he had the race pace to keep Gary behind him, but it looks like Lennon, from the ice cold driver, has something to say, maybe even about challenging for this podium.
I think that you can see on the front of Salo's car. I think he was involved in that first corner incident. You can see the front clip is pushed very far in. I don't think it's going to affect his performance, but I definitely believe that he was involved in that incident in turn 1 where everyone got bunched up. So that was maybe how he, ill-gotten gains, perhaps.
Perhaps a little bit, because I know we saw Toby Davis take a huge plummet down the field. He's since recovered, now up to 7th, but there were definitely some top drivers, some top names that had to take a slide down the grid because of that first corner incident.
Well, Kilo is the guy who lost the most out of that. Let's have a look at his car and see. He does have a mark on the front. Does he have a mark on the back? He is sitting pretty on the backside. Kilo, fastest lap at a 16.9. This is what we're talking about. He's got that pace, but now he still has a mountain to climb. He's got Ely in front of him, Davis, Talberg, 3 THR drivers that he needs to get through that they do not want him to pass them. So it is a mountain to climb, literally. A THR mountain.
Yeah, because here's the thing. He's teamed up with Jack Keithley in the actual pairings when it comes to the Constructors' Championship. So it's actually a very big deal if THR can hold up a Kilo for as long as possible.
Yes, exactly. And it is very important for this championship, as Levesque, their highest running contender for this championship, is starting to lose the back of Rietveld. They just don't quite have that pace. And this is something that they saw. They saw the back of Rietveld's bumper in V8s as well, so it's got to be a little frustrating, but Rietveld just basically taking it to the long-standing front runners of TPS in the THR team.
Yeah, it's obvious that Rietveld perhaps maybe is the strongest driver once we start these races. His tire degradation might be a little bit more severe than other drivers, but the thing is, Levesque has lost contact with these guys, and I gotta think Precision's gotta be looking. And there we go, Rietveld right on cue, sets the fastest time in the race. Looks like Precision's just going to try to hold a gap to THR and maybe wait until later to fight amongst themselves for the lead.
Yeah, well, you saw the way Rietveld and Keithley were battling. Rietveld not taking any prisoners and really, essentially trying to do anything he could to keep his team boss behind and his teammates. So. Could be interesting. As Kilo down the inside into 3. Ely not having any of it, squeezing him down the inside. Kilo through into 8th position.
Nothing Ely could do about that. Kilo had to run on him, got his car, loaded on the inside,
let's just have a quick
look
at that down the inside. A very precise move by him into turn 3, through. Very, very nice little shoulders, but right through. And Tom Ely drops through the field. Where's Tom? Oh, no, sorry. He just missed one of the timing beacons. So it looked like Tom was dropping, but he wasn't. So Kilo into 8th and asserting his position there, but now on the back of Davis and now 6.9 seconds back of the leader. So that's not where he wants to be.
Lauritsen's made his way up to 11th. Remember, Lauritsen, he started, I believe, 18th, so another solid result. I'm very curious why it is that Lauritsen's quality pace doesn't seem to be there, as definitely not compared to the other precision drivers. So that's definitely something they're probably going to want to work on for the rounds going into the future.
Well, I do know that Lortzen has signed out of the virtual mini challenge because of his actual real life racing calendar. So perhaps just a lack of time to get prepared for these events. Obviously, with the racing season in full effect for him. Well, it's interesting going forward. Like you've got just behind him, Callan. There's now Peklad's under attack from Eric Strani as they head down into 3, trying to run the outside, trying to make it, trying to go the long way around. Not quite going to do it.
We saw Strawn really kind of disappoint in Virtual V8 at Melbourne, but so far here in Tom Onslow-Cole Series, he's done okay. Hasn't done tremendous, and so far, I guess he's trying to fight to get inside top 15 here.
Oh, contact as they come through there. He doesn't quite make his move. As Peklat, we've seen this before. Peklat getting under massive attack from a number of cars. You can see this train just lined right up.
Oh wow! These guys have to really keep it struggle to keep it clean here because there's a ton of cars here.
Yeah, that's
a massive train.
Insanity. It's absolute insanity seeing that many cars in your mirror and trying to keep cool without making any mistakes. Like there's. How many cars we got there? That looks like about 7. Kilo, fastest lap of the race to a 16.852. The gap is now 6.4 seconds between him and the leaders.
Yeah, in this train here, we've got Ben Davis, Nicholas Falk, Robert Wilson, Jay Adji, Thomas Matazowski, and I believe Darren Adams is pegged in on the back of this thing. So a massive. Oh yeah, and Jimmy Hughes we also have on this train. So we're talking at least 7 cars.
Well, I would also, while we're following this battle, I'll just take this time to announce the winner of the SRW S1 race wheel is Aaron Channer for sharing and liking. Oh, and there's a car off there.
Colin, he was spun there.
Really?
Brian Collin is now dropped down to 22nd position.
Just not having any luck this season with just in general. Just not having just a good season so far. But so yeah, congratulations to Aaron Channer. We will post this on our website on the Facebook page as well. Aaron Channer is the winner of the SRW S1 race wheel. Also, just a heads up that Lee Palmer was the lucky winner of the TPS T-shirt as a random draw from one of these finishers in the top 64 of both divisions. So Lee Palmer winning a TPS shirt and Aaron Channer winning an SRW S1 race wheel.
Yeah, congratulations to those guys. I know Lee, he's been around the organization, the community for a long time. Everyone loves Lee, so it's always good to see one of our own get some prizes, Keith.
Definitely, no, it's great. We love giving stuff away. It's kind of a pastime for us here at TPS. We're just philanthropists, I think.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
But back up front, Riedfeld is all over the back now of Keithley, and I think he's sniffing at making a move. They have gapped to 2.3 seconds, but I don't know if Rietveld is comfortable sitting in second after watching his pace fall off around the 12 to 13 lap mark. So realistically, if he does want a race win, in his head, he's got to be thinking, I should really try to get by here. Or
I understand that line of thinking if you got Kilo in the mix, but the thing is, what we saw with Rietveld, he had the range of Levitt in VV8. I think he knows how to defeat the THR driver. It's pretty much he's going to be looking for his perfect opportunity to pass Mr. Keithley, who he might not be too happy with after Keithley pulled that last corner maneuver on Rietveld for the win.
Perhaps Keithley could be saying, look, all right, the race win's yours. Let's just not battle. Let's get away. You know, I took the first one. I took the first one. You take the second one. We'll just call it even. We cool?
Exactly. And then with the final on the final turn, Keithley would just go through and take a double win.
Yeah. Just see, it's cool. It's all right. I got it. But no, it's again. Now this is a little bit closer because Levesque is there. Levesque is there, and I think
within contact. Yeah,
he's within contact.
But like I said, these guys at this point, we'll see how things develop because Levitt, he's been very good on his tire preservation, but precision has just seemed to be on another class. I mean, we'll know more within the next 5 laps if Levitt can perhaps change his fortunes.
Yeah, and this is looking back at Kilo now, 6.2 seconds back. He's got 14 laps remaining in this race. He's obviously one of the quickest guys in the field. He's gotten through Salo, gotten through Davis. We haven't really been following it, and this is probably one of the bigger storylines going, is that Kilo getting just involved in incident at the start of this event and now losing his teammates that he battled so hard with and showed such pace against. And this now puts him in a vulnerable position to lose a lot of points here going forward to the third round of this championship. Kilo is going to need to make short work of Tallberg and Lennon having a stellar run. And Rietveld looking up the inside, just maybe trying to shake Keithley a little bit here as Keithley runs a 17.8, whereas on lap 11 last race we were doing 18.1s with Rietveld leading. So I'm curious to see how Rietveld can hold while in behind. But Tom had touched on something very important, is that by being the guy leading, you have your brake marks. You're not making mistakes. You're not locking up. You have a constant reference for everything that you need to do in front of you. And perhaps that was why Keithley was able to hold his tires a little better, and we might see reverse roll here going to the end of this race.
Exactly. So you might see Rietveld, but see, that's the thing. Rietveld's not holding a proper gap. It looks like Rietveld definitely wants to pass Keithley. Where we saw exactly what Keithley kind of hold the gap to Rietveld a little bit better instead of getting right up next to him like this. But a very interesting story.
Look at that deep. Sorry, Danny. Tallberg nearly getting into the back of Lennon.
And, we haven't talked about this guy much, Jasper Tallberg, but he's in fifth. He finished fifth in race 1, and if he's had some solid tire wear. I think he's going to get past Gary shortly here. I'm curious, though, if he can get to William Levite and perhaps challenge his THR teammate for that podium position.
Well, this is just it, is that if he gets by Lennon, I can almost tell you that Kilo now 5.5 seconds back of the leaders as Tallberg looks down the inside of Lennon into 1. He's not going to do it. And see, I'm almost a little curious about that, because look what happens now. That attempt at looking allows Kilo to close. Why not stay in line and try to do it in a hard brake zone, not in a flow corner? And as he's got Lennon, he's down the inside. Lennon's got it. He's not going to do it. Lennon's got the run on the exit, down into 4. But now look who's on the back of him. Kilo's right there to attack if there's any mistake made by either one of these drivers. But Kilo 5.5 seconds back of his teammate Jack Keithley. And this is just heating up big time now as Tallberg is struggling to get by Lennon, and he's right on the back of the ice cold driver, down through 7, down through 6 and 7, up into 8.
He's got the run.
This is the move. He's down the inside into 8. Can he do it? Tallberg down the inside. Nope. Oh, Lennon squeezes him. He's holding the outside. Tallberg still there. Kilo trying to find a way through. They're up into 9. Tallberg is through. Book it. Tallberg into 4th. Lennon. Kilo trying to take advantage now. Squeezes Lennon wide.
Kilo.
Oh, Lennon not going to like that, but he's on the back. He gives him a little nudge, sends him wide, says, thank you. How about that? No, Kilo's got the inside. Lennon comes across the front of him and says, I don't think so. And Gary Lennon holds
by the
spot
veteran
in 5th.
there. Oh, I like the defense there by Gary. And that's exactly what Tallberg wants to see, because he needs to open up a gap to Kilo. He's got to, get some type of buffer. Otherwise, the minute Kilo gets past Gary, he's going to get past Tallberg as well.
Well, that was 0.8 of a second lost for Kilo to the leaders, as Kilo does a late minute move down into the inside of 3, and he's going to hold that. He's got the line.
Oh,
beautiful move. Under braking. I'm going to have another look at that, because that was a textbook move, timing himself into the braking zone. Let's get on board with him and see what he sees. As he comes through, he waits, goes down the inside, brakes, and just holds it. Just a beautiful move. Very assertive. Lennon just was in too deep and held the outside. So now Kilo through, and Lennon falling back. Kilo is on all over the back of Tallberg now and looking to make some time up, because he lost 0.8 of a second while attempting to get through those guys. He's now 5.9 back of the leaders, with Rietveld, Keithley still 0.6 apart.
Yeah, Kilo is right there. But interesting story we have. Back in 21st position, we have obviously Ryan Collin. He's involved in this huge train of cars back there. But
oh dear,
only 2 seconds behind him is Jonathan Ogerklimp. I mean, if you see him, our viewers can see if he's in a red car. I'm not sure if he's in picture there. But the thing about these two drivers, this was the whole controversy in Virtual Mini Challenge. Why Ryan's on suspension? Because apparently these two guys, Ogerklimp and Collin, had a big coming together, and it's some controversy surrounding it, whether or not Collin may have done this with some type of intent, crashed Ogerklimp out the race. But it's going to be interesting if Jonathan can somehow range up to the back of Collin and challenge the most winningest driver in Clio Series.
Well, I think they did make amends at the start of this race. They had talked in the chat prior to the race, but this is quite the battle here. But let's see where Kilo has slotted in. Has he made any progress on Tallberg? I don't believe so, but look down the inside. This is Nicholas Falk looking on the inside, 3 wide into 3. These guys squeezing their way through, not quite going to make it. Darren Adams, Jay Agee, and Jimmy Hughes all side by side, just kind of making their way through, doing maybe the Harlem Shuffle. Rietveld into the side of Keithley. We got to get to the lead. Let's get to the lead there. There's contact between the two leaders, Keithley and Rietveld. Rietveld took a look. I believe it was down into 8. Got in beside him, and they ended up sharing a little bit of paint. But now Levesque is closed in very much so onto the back of them. And this is going to allow Kilo to actually close in as well, because he can now see them in the distance.
See, that's exactly what Levesque wants to see. He wants to see these guys start to do battle. Then maybe he can sneakily pull in and close them in like Toby Davis did in race 1. But I have just been informed that Ryan Collins is not, in fact, the sole in sole possession of the title, the most wins in Clio Series. It's also Ryan Collins and Toby Davis. So just wanted to make that quick amendment for the viewers here.
Yeah, you can't be throwing out facts like that, Danny. You don't got them right. Check your sources. Check your sources. But it looks to me like
Kilo's gotten around Talberg for 4th position.
Okay, so that was pretty quick. Let's see if we can get that on replay as he comes through 3. Oh, just beautiful move. Let's see if we can pull it back a little further.
Yeah, Kilo loves this corner here for making these nice lunging overtakes like this. I mean, this is beautiful here.
And he just times it so well, and he just gets up the inside. And once he's there, 3 is the right place to do it, because you then hold the outside, and he carries on through, and that's Kilo into 4th, and now chasing them down 4.5 seconds back of Jack Keithley. But I can tell you, if Rietveld's losing a little bit of time to Keithley, he's going to need to get dicey if there's any chance that Kilo could contend for this potential race win.
About 10 laps remaining here, so yeah, we're starting to get into crunch time. I'm still watching Levesque to see if he can somehow. The gap is down to 2.1 seconds, whereas last lap it was 2.4. So perhaps Levesque is trying to find his comfort zone with these tires.
Yeah, definitely. And Rietveld is now close to the back. Let's hop on board and see what it looks like if you were Jack Keithley right now trying to defend off Rietveld.
Yeah, this is very menacing, of course. I mean, remember, Keithley's had to deal with this for now, at least, actually the whole race. So, first with Levesque, now it's with Rietveld. So, again, Keithley, does he grow tired of this? Can he keep his nerves together? It's Jack Keithley, so I really have no doubts that he can do it. So,
well, as long as it's not Super Pole qualifying in Season 2 in the Clios, exactly, where he flipped his car on a number of occasions.
Yeah, back down the field. I mean, it looks like these guys are going to be status quo at this point.
I can't take my eyes off this, Danny, because unfortunately, because this is the problem with pulling off of this is that if a big move happens here and Levesque goes through and we miss it, I'm going to get yelled at by everybody.
They'll be coming after you.
But I'm gonna leave it up on my screen so I can get to it quickly should something develop. So, but just going back a little bit, Gary Lennon running in 6th, a solid 6th for him, a great performance from him. Toby Davison is 7th, just kind of not going to be super pleased with that, but still a consistent performance in this depth of field. Salo holding true in 9th, Lordson 10th, Petzold in 11th, People Rodriguez in 12th. He finished 13th in the first race, so very nice from him. Eric Strawn in 13th, Luca Pecklage 14th, Wiese Mueller in 15th, Ben Davis in 15th, Nicholas Falk back in 17th. And then we've got...
here's that train again, yep.
There's that train. Jay Agee down the inside. That's Ryan Callan on the inside of Darren Adams. Going to go through. No, Darren Adams is going to fight back. Callan squeezes him, pushes him up over the curb. Darren Adams going to lose another position. Jimmy Hughes is through into 20th.
You know,
that all just changed.
You know what I think's going on here, Keith? I think that Ryan knows that Jonathan is moving in the background, and he's trying to say, you know what, I got to get up the field.
I gotta go.
Exactly.
Nick, okay, going through the field, though, we got Darren Adams, who just lost a couple spots. Darren's looking down the inside, not going to do it. Matadzewski, Pedro Amaral, very unfortunate for him. He looks so promising, but I'm sure he'll regroup for the next round. Nick Hughes, 24th. Alker Clinton, 25th. Monroe, 26th. That is a terrible result for Monroe because he had such a good run in the first race.
Yeah.
Oyala's 27th, Lee Palmer 28th, who won a T-shirt from the first round. So let's get to the leaders here. Rietveld now losing the back of Keithley. This is the break point in the race where everything changes. And now you've got Kilo in the background all over Levesque though. So this could be another precision 1-2-3 if something doesn't change here. If Levesque can't hold off Kilo, you're going to have a 1-2-3 precision lineup going into the last few laps of this race.
Yeah, and it goes to show, if Kilo can just start up front and just get a clean getaway, this guy is without question the fastest driver we've got here. Because, I mean, if he started up front, he'd been cruising by now, Keith. I mean, he's ranged right back up to the precision cars, and he's only got a 4-second gap, a 3-second gap to the leaders. It's
he's down the inside. He's through. That's it. Kilo made short work of him. That was just almost a non-pass. He just look at how effortlessly he went by him.
He's been doing this all night, Keith. It's unbelievable how
into turn 8, he just boom down the inside.
Over.
And you know what? He's doing it, and he's putting the car in just the right position for when he's side by side with them, because they can't counter, they can't cross over. He's just getting his rear quarter up against their front left quarter, and he's through. And it's a very, very tactical pass because it doesn't allow for any comeback on him. But up front, Keithley is gone from Rietveld, 1.4 seconds, and now is going to fall into Rietveld should fall into the clutches of
Kilo. The question is here, with about 8 laps to play with, can Kilo now challenge Keithley? I mean,
I think it's going to be very difficult for him to get there.
Yeah, it's true, but remember that gap was about 5.7 seconds at one point. It's down to 3.2. So Kilo is coming here.
Yeah, I gotta say it's not looking like Keithley's gonna slip up here, because he's very, very consistent when he's got clean track, and we always talk about that. But it's just a matter of, can Rietveld hold off Kilo now? Levesque is, what's that? Kilo.
Oh, a little mistake.
Kilo makes a mistake there and puts Thalberg all over the back of him now. So Kilo, a very weird mistake there. As Kilo gets a little bit of a nudge from Thalberg. Levesque is trying to make a move, Levesque all over the back of Kilo. Thalberg trying to take advantage of this as they're battling close. Levesque is just not able to make a move here on Kilo. Let's see if we can see what happened there.
And that's just a lap car we saw getting out the way. They're doing a good job
Let's see. So he went,
the leaders.
Did he go deep there? Yeah, he did. He locked up the fronts. Went way too deep, almost went off the track, and then as he came across, very, very unfortunate for him, because now it leaves Rietveld out of reach, it would seem. But you've got Kilo.
I'm pretty much that might be it for Kilo's prospects of winning this race. That mistake really just cost him.
Yeah, I would say so. And Kilo is now not sitting in Kilo's not looking like in a position to get to Keithley at all. 4.6 seconds back with only 6 laps to go. But Rietveld could potentially be in reach, but he also does have the challenging THR drivers of Levesque and Thalberg in his background. But then you've got Gary Lennon, Toby Davis, Tom Ely, Rasmus Salo, who is under attack from Alexander Lauritsen, who just puts her into a nice little drift, trying to make his way by Salo. As we look forward from Alexander Lauritsen on the back of Salo, here he comes through. That's 6 and 7 into 8. Can he make a move like Kilo? Down into 8. Nope, not going to do it. Salo goes in deep. He looks hot though. Alexander Lauritsen going to try to get her cut back and run through. Gets onto the back move. He's down the inside. No, he lifts off. He thinks better of it. But down through 8, this is through 9 now. Up through 10. Salo having a great run here, just fending off Alexander Lauritsen, multiple race winner in TPS. Lauritsen trying to make the best of this situation he's in right now, as his teammates are quite a ways up the field from him. But the rest of the field looks like Heinz Petzold in 11th, great run from him. Pitbull Rodriguez, Strani, Peklaj, Wiesebiller. So Peklaj is broken away from that field, and he's in 14th. So obviously something has changed there. Something had happened. That field now is led by Nicholas Falk, with Jay Agee close in tow. Darren Adams, Nick Hughes, Matazewski, Ocker Clint, Tommy Oyala, John Monroe, Pedro Amaral, and Lee Palmer, all respectively in those positions. And it's now precision 1, 2, 3 with gaps between all 3 of them.
And joining Chris Butcher and I drivers out of the race is Jimmy Hughes. Looks like he had some suspension trouble. I think he was in a bit of a incident there a lap ago. So it looks like Chris Butcher, Jimmy Hughes out the race. In race 1, we had about 5 drivers at DNF. So for this race, it's a little better, only 2.
Well, perhaps that remember we were saying that that field that was being led by Luka Peklaj, there was a big train of cars behind him, perhaps, and I know that Hughes was in that.
He was.
So perhaps there was
yeah.
an incident that involved Hughes and put him out, and also allowed that group to spread out a little bit. But it's kind of spread out here now. This is not anywhere near as exciting as it was the first race when we had Tom Onslow-Cole here to join us, and basically I almost screamed my throat out.
We got two mini trains, so to speak. One with Nicholas Folk, Jay Adgie, Darren Adams, and Nick Hughes, and another with Tommy O'Hala, Jonathan Okercliffe, and John Monroe. So those guys, obviously a little further back down the grid, but other than that, looks like everything else is just spaced out.
Well, and this is the battles for position currently. Is you've got Ely on the back of Davis, who is that now they're chasing down Lennon, and I'm very impressed with Lennon coming through and putting together a good run here. As commentators curse, we talk about him and he gets a little squirrely. But these two guys, I think Ely and Davis, know that if they fight, they won't catch up to Lennon. But it's all valuable points at this point. So Lennon could be under attack as we get to the closing stages of this race. 22nd lap of 26, as Ely possibly looking for a way by Davis. But behind them, now you've got Salo under attack by Lauritsen. Lauritsen is through into 9th. Lauritsen passing Salo for the 9th position. Salo, though, just hanging on for that 10th as he goes a little wide in through 10 there, and now up through 11. He's possibly going to get a draft on him. I don't know. Let's see what he looks like getting a run down on Lauritsen, down into turn 1. Down the start-finish line straightaway, Lauritsen is just past Salo for the 9th position. Salo probably not too happy. Salo wanted to go by, but not close enough to make a move as Lauritsen goes a little deep through 1. Salo looking to cross back on 2, and it's not going to do it. It looks like that move is done, and he is booked for his trip.
Yeah, I expect Lauritsen now to pull a gap. And the precision cars, again, I've said this a few times, but they're just so good with their tires. I mean, I'm really impressed with these cars here. THR have been strong. We've been giving THR a hard time, but they've got a good, solid car out there, and they've got great drivers. The problem is just precision has just been on another level. So it almost just overshadows what THR have been able to do. But
Danny, I do have to point out the fact that now look at this gap that we said was open and things had changed. We now have Kilo on the back of Rietveld, and I guess Keithley had made a slight error in that lap because he is now only 1.4 seconds ahead of Rietveld with a charging Kilo very close by. So Rietveld should be closer as they cross the line. 1.1, Kilo only 1.8 seconds back now. He's been as far back as 7 seconds from Keithley in this race. He was back to 10th, I believe, and made his way back through this field. Kilo now going to be looking to get by Rietveld. Was he going to do one of his moves into 3? No, he's late, not quite close enough. He's not quite close enough to make that move stick. So I would almost say that from what we've seen, I would expect to see him get close through 4, 5, 6, 7, and try to slam one down the inside into 8. But Rietveld has already seen this move a number of times in this race. As he looks down the inside into 4, no.
Keith, he's going to go for this very quickly because, and Tom, he mentioned this on break, that Kilov's very aggressive. He's a young driver that doesn't so much...
Danny, sorry to interrupt. Oh, look, Rietveld sideways. Kilos, he's got the overlap. He's beside him, down into 8.
Yeah, here we
go.
He's
through. Rietveld he knew he made a mistake, but he's going to try to cross back. He's done it. He's down the inside.
There you go.
Rietveld. What a crossover. Perfectly executed. Kilo gets into the back from slightly through 10 as they're going to come up through 10 just shortly here. So that was 9 through 10. Kilo, beautiful move, taking advantage of the mistake, but then just Rietveld, smart, very very mature move. Just thinking, okay, I made a mistake, let him through, ease off, cross over, take it back.
It's almost just so fluid how precision. I mean, for Pete's sake, they lost Lasse Sorensen, a race, the guy who finished second in round 1 at Brands Hatch, and they've just plugged Rietveld right in, and they still have this precision tripod. It's remarkable.
Yeah, this is still going to be a good finish. So we're on the penultimate lap as Rietveld runs wide through 3, but this is going to allow him to get a good run out, and it's going to basically limit Kilo's attempt at a pass here. But Rietveld he's just doing anything he can to keep Kilo behind. But if he had made that move stick, he might have been able to challenge Keithley to the end because Kilo seems to just maintain his pace at the end as Keithley has fallen off slightly. Kilo right there. He's looking any chance he can. This is down into 8. This is where he's been making all his passes. Just dives to the inside, cuts the angle off. No, can't do it. Can't make the move. Kilo is all over the back of Rietveld, but Rietveld we've shown that he can defend. He's down the inside.
Here we go.
He's through, but he's going to
Looks like
cross
another
back over.
cutback here.
What a move by Rietveld. Oh, Kilo
A
crosses
little
back over, a
tap
little
there.
nudge, and sends him wide. Kilo putting his teammate just a little wide there, as in behind you've got Levesque and Talberg now closer to Rietveld. Kilo is now second with 1.5 seconds to him and the leader. Keithley is starting the final lap. And this is going to be it. This is where all the marbles are. I think he's letting Rietveld back by.
I was just about to comment about that. I was wondering if Kilo was going to let Rietveld back, because that was a little naughty there from the team.
Class move. I think he just got a little antsy on the crossover and just tapped his back end, which sent him wide. Very, very fair stuff to do, considering the prize that's on the line here for this championship. But a class move by the young driver, Simon Kilo.
You know, Kilov, here we go. Kilov's looking right back at it, trying to get in this. He really wants this P2 here, Keith. And you know, the thing about Kilov, every race seems like he kind of drops back and has these tremendous runs through the field here as he continues to look at Rietveld and tries to get to position, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
No, not through there, because you got a left-right combo. So even if you have the inside there and you're not fully through, you've got the outside for the next corner. But here they come through 6 and 7. This is headed into 8, his favorite spot on the track, as Rietveld drops a wheel. He looks down the inside. Kilo! No! Chops him off. Rietveld takes it, but we're going to have to give Keithley his due as Kilo is trying to make his move in the final corners here. I don't think he's going to do it. Rietveld defends nice, but here we are. This is the winner here as Rietveld holds it. Levesque's all over the back. I don't know if he's going to do it, but Keithley getting race 2 win. Oh, and Levesque is through.
He's through. He's through.
Levesque is through. He's lost it again. Keithley's going to take the race win here. 2 wins in a row for Keithley. Rietveld takes second. Levesque in third. This is unbelievable finish. Kilo 4th, Talberg in 5th. So by Kilo being a gentleman and giving the spot back to his teammate, eventually costs him to 4th place finish. What a finish. What a finish to this race. Again, another amazing last lap. As you've got Tom Ely, Gary Lennon, Toby Davis in 8th. Oh, what a finish. What a finish. That is incredible to see these guys cross the line like that, and Levesque taking a stolen 3rd, if you could, at the end of the race. Just like race 1 where Kilo got it stolen by Davis, he gets it taken by Levesque in this race. So here's the rundown. Talberg in 5th, Ely 6th, Lennon 7th, Davis in 8th, Lorson in 9th, Salo in 10th, Petzold in 11th, Strawn in 12th, Rodriguez 13th, Wiesemuller 14th, Peklaj 15th, Davis 16th, Callan 17th, Darren Adams in 18th, Falk in 19th, and Aji in 20th. So we're going to take a moment here, boys, and we're going to just round up a couple drivers for interviews. We will see you back in a few minutes, and just enjoy these videos. We'll be back with you shortly.
GamePod, the ultimate race rig for those serious about sim racing. Puts you in the driver's seat with all the controls at your fingertips. Be number one on the road, in the race, in the game. GamePod, the choice of champions.
Inside SimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
And we are back here live from Varano as we are just completing the second race. We have the drivers here for some driver interviews. Firstly, I would like to just congratulate everyone. It was some good stuff, some incredible racing. Tom Onslow-Cole was pretty blown away with some of the level of competitiveness. But I'd like to talk to double winner Jack Keithley for Jack, race one was, we both Danny and I agree that it was probably the best final lap of TPS history. Just take us through race one in your point of view.
Glad you think so. Started off very good, and nothing really much was happening up until about lap 18 when we were running 1, 2, 3, and I said, okay guys, we're going well here, let's just finish off like this. But with chaps to go, you just can't help but thinking, you know what, I want to battle, I want to get an extra position, and that's what we were doing. So I'm the worst team manager in the world for that.
Well, I mean, you guys, it looked like you guys were battling pretty hard, and it looked like there was some contact, and there's always contact to be expected when you're in close quarters on a narrow track like this. But I mean, was there anything that kind of you didn't like or you didn't appreciate, or was it all okay?
No, it was all good fun. I mean, them last 2 laps, I saw Jeffrey was really struggling on that last lap. You know, for anyone to defend with these kind of tyres this late in the race, it is impossible. It's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I know that Simon was able to seem to have a better pace at the end of the race, which was very evident, and he was very anxious to get by, and rightfully so. He wanted to get a buffer, I think, between you and himself, because obviously you two are top of the table. But it ultimately his aggressiveness did end up costing him not only the win, but also it ended up getting him back to 4th. So this now gives you a bit of a gap, but you've got to be pleased taking 2 race wins here. Race 2 kind of went a little better for you. You got out front. You were able to kind of just run your own pace, but Kilo again was showing incredible pace. Do you see that being something you're going to have to combat going forward?
Kind of, but as well, I'm just thinking it's my first win, and after doing 2 weeks of FSR testing up to this, it's pretty good. But yeah, in race 2, Jeffrey upped his pace, it seemed, and it was quite difficult to get a rhythm in the first stage of the race. But then when I saw Simon was catching, I was thinking, oh god, this isn't, well, this could be a 1, 2, 3 anyway.
Well, I got to say, Jack, it was a pretty dominant performance, and you got to be happy as a team manager as well too. Just it's great to see you guys doing well. But yeah, congratulations. I think Danny's got Jeffrey Rietveld on his debut here in the Clio Series.
Yeah, Jeffrey. I mean, so far you've joined TPS, pole position in VV8, a win in VV8. Now you come out today, get a pole position, and then we've seen pretty much perfection from you until the last half lap, and Keithley passes you for the race a win. How did it feel to lose in that type of fashion?
Well, obviously, when you've been defending for like 15 laps and then losing it in the last few turns, it's well, I can tell you I was quite a bit disappointed with that, but still, my TPS debuted in the Clio, second place, pole position, can't really complain.
So then talk us through the second race there, because obviously then you had Keithley in front of you. Did you feel you were faster than Jack, or was it you just trying to hold serve and hold on to that second place?
Well, my tires were so destroyed in the first race, and I had to find a fix and took a huge gamble in the setup and changed a few things. I guess it worked out because my tires lasted longer, and I felt like I had a bit better pace than Jack at some point, but then again, the insane amount of understeer killed me in the last like 7 laps or so, and then I saw Simon closing up, and I was like, oh god, here we go again. I will have to go into defense mode. So.
Well, it was regardless, it was a great result from you, especially considering you guys have lost Lasse Sorensen, and you were able to come in and kind of fill his shoes without missing a beat. So well done today. And now I know Keith now wants to point this toward Toby Davis, the THR co-boss.
Yeah, Toby. Congratulations on today. I know race 2 didn't quite go how you were expecting, but race 1. Talk us through. I know you ended up getting a very late third position. Talk us through race 1 in your words.
Obviously, I had the best qualifying I've had for a while in the Clios. Well, since last season, basically, and put it on road 2. I knew I could do something from there. Had a decent start, got up to third. And then, of course, the Precision boys, I don't know what they were doing. They certainly weren't acting like a team, and they took each other out, and Kilo dropped behind me, so I basically robbed a podium I didn't deserve in race 1. Race 2, slightly worse qualifying. Ended up row 3, I think, and again had an excellent start and was flat out driven onto the grass, so I lost about 4 or 5 places. And as a result of that, by the end of the first sector, a couple of cars came across me as well into turn 1, which was, again, I wasn't particularly impressed with the contact that was made there. I was put back in the pack and had to make progress from there. And turns out that the setup change that I made from race 1 to race 2 didn't help the tyre wear. In fact, it made it worse. And Tom was able to get me in the end, so I led him through. And he managed to get by Gary as well. And it's that kind of thing, where you let teammates that are faster than you through, that prevents contact between your teammates.
Well, I mean, going forward from this, obviously Precision they've been doing very well, obviously keeping up at the front. You guys got to definitely, you've got your work cut out for you, but you've shown, you guys have been the winningest team in TPS history. So I'm sure you guys can dig in, and I'm sure, the team will work together to come through it. So I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in the next few races. I think Danny's got William Levesque now as well.
Yeah, William. First thing I want to talk to you about is your Q1 performances, because so far we've seen at Brands Hatch and now here at Varano.
Yeah, that's a strategy. I do that on purpose.
Yeah, but similar to what Keithy would have done in season 2 then, I guess. Okay, so then talk us through what exactly goes on there in those Q1s.
Well, this time anyway, it was, I think I didn't warm the brakes enough, and I missed brakes in the turn 1, so that's what happened.
Well, we've seen you, regardless of those troubles in Q2 and in the second race, you're able to, I guess, start a little higher in the grid and then finish very strongly. So what is that? You just used to the conditions by the time you get to Q2?
Yeah, well, like I said, I just missed the breaking point for turn 1 Q1, so it wasn't a matter of adjusting to condition, it was a matter of not messing it up, and it went a lot better indeed in Q2.
And now, just the final question I have for you. You obviously have made your name as a driver with your tire conservation, and that was one of the main sticking points why you were able to beat challengers like Ryan Collins in Season 2 to win the title. So, what's kind of happened here with the precision guys? Because it seems like those guys have even outdone you with your tire wear. I mean, is there anything that you can kind of pinpoint that to?
It's a tough call. We don't really know how they do what they do, but we'll look into it and hopefully we'll figure out whatever little tricks they might be using or something. I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing at the moment how it's going, but hopefully it'll go better as the season goes on.
Well, congratulations on your podium result. I know Keith now wants to talk to Simon Kilo.
Hey, Simon. Just some pretty intense races. Race 1 was obviously quite extensive because it was basically 15 laps of battling with your teammates, and you ended up coming out. You ended up coming out on the short end on the last lap, losing third position both races. You've been showing great pace. Talk us through race 1 in your words, how it all went.
Yeah, race 1 was pretty great, but I got a pretty bad start and got down to 5th, I think, and have to fight me up again behind Jack and Jeffrey, but lucky they start battling out so I could gain a lot of time, and I got up to them, and we was just battling like crazy for 15 laps, and in the last laps, Jack was also like, keep it quiet, keep it down, and I was just, it was my own fault in the last race, so yeah.
Well, race 2. So at the end of it was, you seem to have better pace at the end of the race. Is it just, is it a matter of saving your tires, or is it just that I can't really pinpoint it, but you seem to be able to just have that little bit of an edge over both your teammates there, and it looked like you really wanted to get by to kind of take away a win there in race 1. Were you pushing really hard at the end to get that win?
Yeah, it's very hard, and then my tires was also gone the last 2 laps, so it was pretty hard to fight with Jeffrey.
Yeah, well, it was great battling. I mean, Tom Onslow-Cole was watching the whole first race, and he actually quoted saying, this is a quote from him saying that it's almost better than the real thing. So it was a great show to put on. You did some good results, but we've got a long season ahead of us. So well done today, Simon. I think Danny has just one more person he wants to speak to. It's Rasmus Salo.
Yeah, Rasmus Sal from Optimum Sim Racing. Rasmus, we saw in Brands Hatch your quality pace was fantastic. Today it was solid yet again, but your race pace seems so much better. So, was there anything in particular you did to kind of improve yourself from round 1 to round 2?
Well, not actually. I mean, I guess it goes without saying that speed is not what I'm lacking, but yeah, the key to success is just to get your tires to last. Which I honestly don't at the moment. But you're right, it was better than in race in the first round at Brands Hatch. So no, I mean, not anything particular that I did, but yeah, just drove a little bit better, I suppose.
So, is there anything? Do you feel like you can improve to perhaps then get a car that can challenge for podium positions now moving forward?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like there's only one direction from here, and it's upwards.
Very nice. Well, Danny and everybody, just like to say thank you. Well done to all the drivers. I gotta just give a big thanks to all of the people involved for sponsorship. Tom Onslow-Cole, Team Hard, GamePod, Inside Sim Racing for their help, SimSync Pro. We've just got a number of people that support us and all the hard work that goes in from all the administrators at TPS. But if you enjoyed this race and you would like to tune in for another event, we have, unfortunately, I can't put up the next event because we've just got a small issue with the tech side of things, but it is going to be this Friday It'll be this Friday coming up for the Virtual V8 Supercars, where you can see Jeffrey Rietveld holding the championship lead there. But make sure you tune in for that. And then the following event after that is the Mini Challenge, which would be the following Friday as well. All information for this can be found on our website at TouringProSeries.com. All replays of all videos can be found at YouTube.com/TouringProSeries, and they will be posted immediately after the racing. So thank you to everybody for joining. We appreciate all of the time that you've spent racing here and all the guys who tuned in. So thank you and good night.